Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go places!
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
We're doing it by default because guys are hurt.
Right.
But
We're not talking about personnel right now,
Forced to
Mike.
do it.
Yeah.
My apologize.
All right, if there's something to talk about, we'll talk about it. If there's nothing to talk about, we won't talk
so
about
on this cool day out there, temperature-wise, how was it?
I did not enjoy that piece of this.
it. I don't know if he was like a maintenance guy, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what department, but he's...
Paul doesn't pay attention to this.
Some guy.
No.
Some dumb guy.
No, I didn't say that.
He knew who you were.
Well, I mean...
He also used ChatGPT to analyze the hosts
Oh, God.
of
Oh, boy.
Job.
This is the one I have a problem with ChatGPT.
Uh-oh.
Eric Scalavino, appreciated for his attention to detail and his commitment to providing accurate information. How many times did he come off like he was, and then we would look it up and no, that's not it.
Remember
Again.
the We Are Killing the Patriots?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Shannon
Yeah,
Sharp.
hell yeah.
I was so mad after
bet.
that
Me
game.
too. Yeah,
And I was an adult. I was so mad after that game.
Threw his sippy cup across the room.
Yeah, goo-goo-ga!
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium.
Gotta hurry.
Yeah, this is the, for us, it's the hay in the barn day. So we're going to wrap up our look ahead to the Washington Commanders, whatever's remaining of that team after all their trading. And you had a good question, though, in your roundup today, Deuce,
Oh, thanks, Fred.
about,
Oh.
what the focus might be for, both teams.
Yeah.
So, maybe we can get into that. But, it's
Mike, a couple weeks ago, you got some
I know.
40 lashes
I
today.
turned it around.
Good,
I turned
Mike.
it around.
No,
a
but
couple weeks of
Good,
of
Mike.
comments.
it's
Positive
pretty obvious
comments.
that the Commanders are looking to the future.
Yeah.
So the future is now for Washington.
Although I saw, what's his face, Sweat saying, I'm going to see how it goes here in Chicago. So I know we kind of got into that a little bit. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan Poles.
yeah, he wants, it says something about Atlanta. He wanted to go to Atlanta
No
more?
green bananas for Ryan Poles.
What are you doing if you're Chicago, though? Like
I
you're
don't
just,
know.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going around the league. I mean, Chicago, Arizona, there's an investigation going on treatment of people.
Yeah.
Oh,
from
really?
from the
I missed-
ownership.
Yeah.
I missed this.
Yeah, from the ownership level.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
So
only a matter of time before they get you, Freddie.
yeah.
I don't agree with the Chicago thing, the hysteria against what Chicago's doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't like Montez Sweat's not going to win them games single handedly. He's not that good.
No, but
Right.
why
So
are you
they-
giving away high draft
Yeah.
picks if you're not going to
because
retain
he's
the
a
players?
because he's a good player.
Well, yeah, so
we'll have some fun for a couple
That-
months and then we'll go our separate ways.
Right.
No, I mean I don't.
You got to keep them. That's the
I think
hysteria.
the obvious plan is to keep him.
Right.
Oh, okay, then
Yeah.
we're all on the same page then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just see a lot of people that are like, "What are they doing?" It's like, well, they're getting good players.
Right.
They're
If
getting
you-
talent.
If,
on
you,
their,
if
on
you
their team.
if you retain him,
Right.
then it's a good move.
And I
'Cause
would-
that's what you use draft picks for, right?
Yeah.
To get good players.
And I would argue
it
if you're
might
going to
be as good as Montez Sweat, maybe.
But
Like,
I would
that,
argue if you're going to
like-
blow him away with a contract, don't give up a second round pick for him. Just wait 8 weeks and then you can sign him.
No,
Yeah.
but then aren't you competing with other teams at that point?
They're competing with other teams now.
What do you mean?
His contract is up after 8 games, Fred.
Not if they do it now. Not if they extend him.
He's not going to do it now.
Well, then I think.
What did he
it's
say?
So see,
So
see, yeah, he's
Atlanta?
going to see how it goes.
He wants to go to Atlanta?
Once they get a sense of how everything is.
Well, then it's a very risky move. Then
Well,
I guess.
that's the hysteria. If you re-sign him, then Evan's exactly right. He's a good player, and you have him.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But I don't know why, if you were going to overpay for him, which you're going to have to do to keep
Yeah.
him, just wait 8 weeks. You don't have to give up a second-round pick
Well,
and overpay him.
I just don't think that they're at all an attractive destination
but-
in free agency, so he's not going to go there.
but
Okay,
right
so
now,
then you lost a second-round pick,
right
and you
now,
don't have the player.
Right now, because they have his rights, they have exclusive
Bargaining
negotiation.
rights,
Right? No one else can negotiate with him except them. So I would hope that they're going to make a strong push now before he does get out there, and other teams can match their offer or do better.
They better, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this
Otherwise, you got
less than 1% chance of that happening.
I also think they're in a unique position. Not that this is Bears Unfiltered, but they're in a unique position that they have those 2 first-round picks. So they're they kind of already have a ton of draft capital. So to be sitting on these other picks, it's
if they retain
still,
him, then there's no
it's kind
issue.
of like a different version of the AJ Brown thing, where instead of trading like in the offseason before he goes into his deal, you're trading for him right at the trade deadline, even though they're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? They're not really building for this year.
It'd be one thing if they were the Rams or a team like that, and they needed a piece to get over the hump this year. That they're done this year. This year is nothing. So it is a risk if they don't get him signed.
Yeah, well, they're doing Evan's thing of, free agency. Great players aren't really hitting free agency anymore. So I think they're giving themselves a chance, to have that window with him.
But this one was going to.
Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying, Paul. I just think that we get too attached to draft picks. So you have this second round pick, and it's like, oh, well, we could take this second round pick and we'll probably draft an edge rusher, and maybe he'll be as good as Montez Sweat, or we could have Montez Sweat. And I just think that
as long as
you have Montez Sweat, I don't think you're going to have Montez Sweat or a second round pick.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's the way it looks to me, unless that they completely blow him away when he hits free agency. And in that case, I would just say, just completely blow him away when he hits free agency and hang on to the second round pick.
Let his agent know, hey, by the way, the minute we can, your phone's going to ring and we're going to give you an offer. So
you have the whole legal tampering period and all that stuff.
Well, they can start negotiating with him right off the bat.
Well, now they can, right?
Even in the offseason,
right?
Because it's your own player.
Right.
No, but I'm saying if they had just waited.
Yeah.
I hear you. I just think that we get too people get too attached to giving up the draft capital for players that are proven good commodities when that's what you just hope the draft pick will become.
And absolutely agree with that. The year that the Patriots draft was, Brandon Cook and all that stuff.
Coney Ely.
I was fine with but I was fine with the idea of using draft picks for known commodities. What's wrong with that?
If you retain them,
as long as you,
yes, I would agree. There's no argument if they re-sign.
If it's a 2-month rental that costs you
for a
2-win,
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Whereas
in a season where you're already out of it,
whereas if the Niners can't re-sign Chase Young and they give up a 3rd round pick, no big whoop. I mean, they're taking a run.
Yeah,
that's well worth it. Again, I'm with Evan. I don't have to hold on to those draft picks like they're some untradeable commodity.
But if I'm Montez Sweat, why would I sign with the Bears? There's no incentive to me to sign with them right now.
Unless you overpay, in which case, just wait till free agency. And, if you have the biggest offer, many times you're going to get the guy.
All right, it's Deuce, it's Evan, it's Paul, it's me, it's Matt in the booth. I don't know is Alex going to join us later?
I think she should.
I
forgot to grab her, so if she did
well,
well, she'll be here.
I'm a little surprised not to see her.
Oh wow,
Oh, she'll come in.
Okay, wow.
Dressed to the nines, like coming in. Oh, was today Thursday?
Wow,
just in time for the scores.
She is dominating. She's she's leading the league.
Wow, that's great.
Dominant.
Okay. What else do we got? Patriots.
What?
Bill?
What?
Bill Washington. You're
No,
we're not doing
that. That was something that was
Florio threw something at a wall.
Actually, the only thing about that story that was intriguing to me was, obviously, if you were going to do something and he went somewhere, he'd have to want to go to that place, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's close to Annapolis,
right?
Maybe that is something that would be desirable.
I cannot come up with a single argument that would make Bill want to go to Washington. Besides the owner
it's close to Annapolis.
Besides the owner has deep pockets.
What about
I have a lot of them.
Yeah. What about a boatload of money and full control?
Total power.
Full control over a roster that stinks.
Yeah. What?
He gets everything he wants.
Full control over a roster that stinks.
But he's going to make it
at 72 years old.
He's in really good shape, by the way. I think he might be in better shape than I am. No, I'm serious. I hope when I'm 72, I'm in as good a shape as he is.
Okay,
but I'm going to go out on a limb and say you will be.
Does Bill? I don't know.
What are the mechanics for trading a coach? So does he have to approve it, or could you just trade?
Well, he has to go somewhere he wants to go.
Yeah.
But you can
if he doesn't want to. If he doesn't want to coach, to Evan's point,
he could just retire.
Yeah, he'll pull a Gronk.
Washington can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Mr.
Fire me and pay me.
Robert, we'd like to give you we'd like to get Bill, but Bill has to want to go there.
Right.
Right. But I imagine that this is a very appealing scenario for a large segment of Patriots fans who would love to get, I don't know, a couple of first-round pick or a couple first-round
That's
picks
not
and be
happening.
able
That's
to move
not
on for
gonna
Bill.
happen.
You might get a first.
You might get a third.
No.
That's it, really?
Do you listen to anybody that talks about these things, or do you just go off of it's 2007?
No, here if you're Washington, that's your guy. If the Patriots are demanding a first, you give him a first. If you believe that he's your head coach and you're going to give him total control, a first-round pick is a low price to pay. That's ridiculous. They won't pay more than a third.
No, what
then
is
they
the,
really
what is
don't
the,
want him.
What is the scuttlebutt? I haven't heard. I haven't heard.
I think
the
that's what
discussion.
will happen then if you want to.
First of all,
want to play hardball.
just-
They don't want him then.
This is solely just scuttlebutt.
Yes.
And
I
I
agree.
like the fact that these things always turn
Yeah,
into
why
such
are
big,
we even talking about this?
What?
It's ridiculous.
It's not
Because
like
Mike brought it up.
I
Why
know,
are you so
but, like,
disrespectful?
So Florio goes on a show and he's like, "This isn't a report, so don't take it as a report." And then he reports something. It's like, dude,
It started with Tom Curran and Phil Perry 2 days earlier, and
Did it?
they talked about the idea of Washington. I agree. Like, if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk.
No, but
about it.
I think it's
We're already talking
baseless,
about
right?
it, so.
Like it's baseless.
I
Yes.
think I don't think it's totally baseless that if the Crafts decide that Bill is not the coach here anymore, trading him is not totally baseless. Like that makes sense,
Right.
But at the same time, I think if you're Bill, like you got to look at Washington and you have to say, I need at least 3 years to get this team to a contender, and I am 72 years old. Like, so you're telling me at 75 is when his team is going to be good again? Like, what's the point?
That's what I said to Felger yesterday. He poo-pooed me.
What
As he often
okay,
does.
but what's wrong with that?
He's too old, Fred. Like, how old is he going to do this
You're
for?
an ageist. You're an ageist.
You're,
So was
you're nowhere
everybody
near
else in
as
the
old as
world.
him. What's the big deal?
Believe me, at 55, believe me, I know.
The reason why, to Paul's point about the third round pick, the reason why the teams aren't knocking down the door for Bill is because of his age.
They're
Right.
not.
If he was 60, then this would be a totally
They're not
different
knocking
If it was
down
conversation.
the door
2007,
because
we'd
he's
have a
under-
different argument.
Wait a minute. They're not knocking down the door because he's under contract with the New England Patriots.
Fred, do you never hear any rumors or anything like you didn't hear for 2 years Sean Payton what potentially he could get?
No, I know, but
He was under contract from the New Orleans Saints.
I know, but
Like these are the things that are being talked about, as Florio said, this isn't a report, but when you talk to people and these are the things that you're hearing in NFL circles.
So a report.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, if you had to start from scratch with either this Patriots roster or the Commanders roster, what would you pick right now?
And we talk about it starting from scratch.
Wouldn't
I mean,
really love either one of those
Terry
options.
McLaurin's pretty good, right? I mean, they've got some good players.
But like Matthew Judon's pretty good. Like the point is that not only does he have to get the roster back to a contention standpoint, he's got to retool the entire program. Like I think people don't put enough stock.
He did
in
it in 1 year with the Patriots.
Two.
He did, but if
he did it.
But if you hear
the
him,
second year they went to the Super Bowl.
but
Right,
if you hear
so
him
two.
talk about
okay,
it,
but it took him a year to get there.
but when you hear him talk about it, he says that 2001 was premature. They were ahead of schedule in 2001.
Okay.
He didn't really feel like the program was up and running until 2003.
I'll bet you if you sat him down, he would say Washington, the way it's constituted right now, was better than the Patriots the way it was constituted when he took over the team.
Well, he's wrong.
I guess like I'm not gonna like I don't that's going back a ways
He
for
couldn't even
me.
get 53 guys, Paul.
That was his choice.
Right, because he thought everyone stunk.
Well, because he completely cleared the decks.
Right, but I'm just saying that. So what if it takes 3 years? I think he's gonna. I think so. He'll be 74, 75.
Yes, Fred. If you could guarantee that he's going to win a Super Bowl in 3 years, yes, anybody would do it. But
Yeah.
that's
So,
that's
I
a
mean, do you
stretch
think he's
and a
not
half.
going anywhere then? Because he's like, unless it was
Right.
a stacked roster.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. But what I think people are underselling about Bill going elsewhere is his entire life has set up here. Like his kids are on the coaching staff. His front office is filled with nepotism hires. Matt Groh, Elliott Wolf, all these guys have connections to Bill. So his entire program is set up here. Not to mention like his personal life, which I won't, Nantucket, all that stuff. Like that is all. He's over 25 years has set up a program, like almost like a college program, where like he is all of his foundation is in place. So he has to pick this up and he has to move it to Washington, which is tanking and is in a terrible spot in terms of the roster. They don't have a quarterback. They just traded their 2 best players probably, and now he has to start it all over. All because what? Because Josh Harris is going to pay him he's the highest paid coach in the league here. Yep. So like what advantage now?
But this is operated under the premise that staying here is not really an option.
Yeah.
Right. So
and also
if
you're
Bill,
forgetting about a guy like Bill, and I'm not just saying it's just Bill, but guys at his level feel they can do anything. They've got the ego that I can do that.
And I do think Washington is one of the few places that will give him everything that Evan just said he has here.
Right.
I don't think a lot of other places he'll have that.
Like we don't know, but I can imagine that Bill's getting a little tired of being here, just like Brady. Like maybe he feels he needs a new, and he's not done coaching, just like Brady wasn't done quarterbacking, but he needed a new.
So let's play this out. Like I'd say Bill is essentially a free agent and can be traded anywhere, and that's the case.
Where
right?
he wants to go.
Where he wants to go. Where is Washington on that list? Now, if you tell me that just like Brady with Tampa Bay, there weren't as many suitors, and that was sort of where the musical chairs ended. Fine, but I would counter with that Tampa Bay's roster was a lot better than people gave it credit for, and Brady recognized that.
Sure.
So, if you're Bill, and on Black Monday, there's probably going to be, like every year, there's going to be 6 to 8 coaches that are fired. You're telling me that Washington is going to be the best opening? There's no way.
Maybe, like I said, I was trying to come up with why Washington. Close to Annapolis. It's not that far from Nantucket. It's still, a hop, skip, and a jump with a private plane.
Well, if I'm the owner of the Commanders, it makes complete total sense to just throw the boat at him and remake our franchise with this guy. And
kind of like Orthwein did
years,
with Bill Parcells. Now, Bill Parcells was a lot younger than Bill Belichick at this point, but that's what Orthwein's thinking was. I need to bring in an established, credible coach to, give my franchise credibility, because I'm going to, whatever I do with it, I need to get it back on the map.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, everything Evan's saying about why would Bill want to do it, but I also look at this roster and say, this roster's probably 3 years away too, so what's the difference,
Again,
my point is that
the
he's going to have better rosters to pick from. Like,
I'm just glad we're not talking about it.
Like,
I know. No, I mean, this type of stuff, you could go on forever, but, like, are we wasting time? Because it just ain't going to happen.
We probably are, but isn't it fun?
I know. But
if there's
radio.
We got a game to win on Sunday.
No, we don't. If there's like openings around the league that are projected to potentially be open, and like I get it that Felger I think had the take with you that like he doesn't want to go someplace where he's not going to get the credit if the team wins. So,
but there are some other factors involved in those too. I don't think they're, first of all,
except for San Diego, all those other openings are probably on teams that stink too.
Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I mean the Chargers,
and they're not going to pay him.
Right. But what if
this is my point? Like, there's not as like this big dossier of options out there that he's going to get everything he wants.
There's one, and it's they staring at everybody in the face when he stood up there and said how great of a program Jerry Jones runs in Dallas.
Yeah, he doesn't pay.
I think he would pay for Bill.
Yeah, maybe he would.
Because that's
but he doesn't pay his coaches typically.
That's a situation where Jerry Jones is also starting to get up there in age. And if he wants the Super Bowl, then you start to think about Bill is probably, you give Bill an offense that has a quarterback and everything already set up on that side of the ball, and you give Bill Micah Parsons, and that team is going to be really, really freaking good.
Yeah,
well, listen.
I think if you had the teams, obviously the Washington wouldn't be high on the list, but I wasn't aware of this, and I heard, and this could be some Felger and Mazisms too, and maybe they're sort of taking a grain of truth and making it out. But they claim like the only time they ever got the coach was Parcells when they wanted to build a stadium. They had they needed a little bump, but otherwise he's notoriously tight with his coaches and all of the other stuff around him.
And I would agree. And just look at Jason Garrett, how long it took Jerry Jones to finally get rid of him.
Think about some of the other guys that have coached that, like the Dallas Cowboys, like Dave Campo.
Right.
Was the
Barry
head coach.
Switzer.
it wasn't Chan Gailey the coach once too
Right.
there. Like
he wants
they've
puppets.
They've had
He
some
doesn't-
unimpressive coaches.
He doesn't want a strong guy,
including the guy they have now.
He wants a guy that he can manage.
And also not pay. Like supposedly
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy's like the third lowest paid coach in the
Jerry
league.
wants to be the man. He's not going to be the man if Bill Belichick's there.
But I mean, Evan's point about the rosters, absolutely, I would go to the Chargers. I'd go to the Cowboys.
yeah,
But like the ones
But
that
I
I think
that,
are going to.
I don't think that job's going to be available.
Well, I think it could be, but I don't think he's going to get what he wants there. I don't
Yeah.
think Jerry Jones is going to let him bring, Patriots East, out to Dallas. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
Kind of runs counter to what he's done.
Yep.
Chicago, they don't pay either. The Chargers, Spanos, very tight. These guys are not going to give him $25 million and allow him to bring all his family.
But the Giants.
Possible.
Is the Giants available?
Yeah. Possible.
I don't know.
Not a great roster.
I can't wrap my head around Bill in Washington. That roster is so far away, and I don't see it. That's all. I'm sorry. Like I think the age is his age has to be a factor.
I think the age is a factor too. I absolutely. That's like my first shutdown of Felger yesterday was that. Like he doesn't have time to do it there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has time to do it here.
Well,
And when you say
different
time,
argument.
you're talking 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah.
I think he's got plenty of time.
I just don't understand how a guy who once vowed to never be like Marv Levy and coach into his 70s is now 76, no problem.
And like I said, at the time, that probably seemed reasonable. But then you get into this.
And evidence would be on the other side.
But look at him. He's in good
Yes,
shape.
he's not as
And
good
look
a
at-
coach as he was.
Correct.
Yeah.
Look at the product.
Like,
on
are
the
you
field.
arguing that?
Coach,
Like he's gone 4 years under 500.
right? It's the GM part.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Must be great.
But anyway, maybe, like if he does it the way he wants to do it, maybe he brings out Matt Groh with him, or maybe he hires a.
So you almost said Algro.
I know.
Well, I think for Washington, he would get
almost
all
did.
of that.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
you're
whatever
right
you
about
want.
Whatever
But
you
but-
want.
but
I think
maybe-
you're right about
in,
that.
in other words,
want.
since he has the keys, he can structure the program any way he wants, so that it's not as taxing physically on him. Like he can hire.
So they don't look like the Patriots.
What do you mean?
I don't think he does as much as he used to.
Okay,
and
I don't know.
And I just don't. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's nothing wrong with delegating.
But again, you're assuming that everything else is okay here, and everything that we hear is that it's not.
yeah, because I don't think that the coach is. I don't think he is doing what he did 10 years ago.
Okay, but even if he is he happy? Is my point. Is he happy here?
We should ask him.
I don't
that.
know.
Are you happy, Bill?
Somebody asked Bill
Can you
O'Brien
imagine
that
the
a few
throw up
weeks ago.
face I would get if I said, Bill, are you happy?
It's
How are
it's
you?
like Brady. Brady, it was just time.
Yeah.
It was time.
Some of us were willing to say that, but.
Oh, I'm talking about in Brady's mind, not in my mind.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about in terms of what Tom
See,
Brady
you,
thought.
You want to take a step back from that take, like that's the character you play, but then you say stuff like that.
No, but
should
in terms of what
I
Brady was
appreciate
thinking,
it.
I think Brady felt I just need to leave. I need a new place.
Right. I just think that Brady, to his credit, put on his GM cap for a second and saw the Bucks had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
I know.
And a defense
But-
that was kind of up
but
and coming.
Other
and-
than the Cowboys and maybe the Chargers is more likely. Very few teams that are firing the coach have a stacked roster.
Yeah.
It's just not. That's rare.
But some of them have quarterbacks.
yeah.
And that, I think, it makes a big difference.
It's funny he still brought Gronk, though.
Well, I'm
What
assuming,
about 10 guys?
I'm assuming that Gronk might have been
But
predetermined.
But as it stands right now, Washington's going to have a very high pick, right?
Sure. Yeah.
For all we know, the plan's already in
Later
place.
than the Patriots.
yeah, they're picking 11th right now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, but I mean,
got
they're
three.
gonna
As
they're
of-
gonna
yeah.
stink. the
I
rest
mean,
of the way,
yeah,
so.
we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Lot of losses
not,
to go.
Not yet.
But they have
technically.
2 wins, right? Washington?
Three.
Oh, 3.
Yeah.
I thought they had 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
One ahead of us.
Yeah.
They're about to have 4. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I
This
just,
guy's in a dark
He
place.
is today.
I
I
mean,
thought
yeah.
after 2 hours of Catch 22, you would work
That-
some issues
I
out. It
thought
seems
that would
like
put him
you're
in his happy
It
place.
seems like Barth triggered you or something.
I think he usually does.
Now, if we lose this game on Sunday, I'm out.
I mean, you're out now.
Clip that, Mark.
I'm only kidding.
They're bones for them to lose this game. I was being
yeah.
like facetious.
Yeah.
What's that word?
Facetious.
It's facetious.
I can't say that word.
Yeah, there's a lot of words.
Facetious.
Facetious.
I was half kidding is a better way to put it, but there's a lot of bones in this game that favor Washington, and I would.
Let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
First of all, I guess the simplest one is that Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne are going to go up against Cole Strange and City So.
Deron Payne, we're finally playing him.
So that's going to be fun. Good luck stepping up in the pocket or having any.
So they're really good.
Very good.
Okay, so the roster's not as bad as you're saying it is.
They have 2 good players.
Terry McLaurin's not good?
Okay, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bet you if we went down, we could find some
Yeah, but
more.
I think we could do the same thing with the Patriots roster.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But what I'm saying is that, going back to our previous conversation, he wouldn't be stepping into the train wreck that you're making it out to be.
I think he would.
Well, the bottom line is they don't have a quarterback.
Okay. That's fine. I get
it kind of is a train wreck. Now, I don't think that would be a train wreck that he'd be unwilling to take part in because I think he doesn't largely care about that spot.
Yeah.
He loves Sam Howell. Sam Howell, that's my guy. We got him.
I mean, that's the simplest thing is finding a way to block those 2 guys with the 2 young guards is going to be questionable.
Cole Strange, is that Cole Strange? Is that who you're referring to with young guards or
maybe
Mafi and?
I don't know. I pick on Cole Strange a lot. So I'm
does he get benched outright this week? And
I mean,
it's Mafi because Mafi wasn't great when he.
You talk about guys that have really given Cole Strange problems, like a Quinnen Williams, DeForest Buckner,
the strong guys.
Big, powerful.
Guess
dudes.
who Jonathan Allen is?
Talented
big,
players.
powerful dude.
The
Same
talented
fight.
guys.
But it's not like guys typically that are like great get off guys. It's these long, powerful, heavy players that's Jonathan Allen.
Yep.
So he's going to have to deal with that. And offensively, I think Eric Bieniemy is really good, and he runs a system. He runs the Reed system, and the Reed system's given them all kinds of trouble for a decade. So you look at Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. You look at Alex Smith in that Week 1 game scoring 40 points on the defense. You look at obviously what Patrick Mahomes did is different because he's Patrick Mahomes, but they did it with lesser quarterbacks. They did it in big stages, and the Patriots defense has trouble with that scheme.
The Patriots have had to blitz a lot to get pressure, and that seems to be the only thing that's really bothered that Washington offense is when there's a lot of pressure. Now,
41 sacks.
I think that they've really adjusted because they threw the ball 50 some odd times last week and only got sacked once.
Yeah.
Against an Eagles team that can get pressure on the passer. They have good front 7 personnel, and I just wonder if maybe Bieniemy has said, okay, we can't do this, this, and this because we just won't be able to do it, but we can adjust and do it in a different way. And they put 31 on the board, against Philly. Now, some of that I do think is division matchups because clearly there's something about Washington that bothers Philly. They beat them last year, to knock them out of the undefeated. Both games this year were there was shootouts that went right down to the wire. So clearly there's something about Washington that bothers Philly as a division team. So I don't just go by what they did against the Eagles.
Right.
But you just said the word shootout.
Oh, yeah.
I think this Washington team can score.
If Washington has a good offensive day, you're going to be in trouble
That's
without Kendrick Bourne and Parker, and now you're going to have to rely on the young guys. Evan brought up the protection issues on the inside. Yeah, it could be a long day. I don't know if you're going to win this game 35-31.
No, I think it's like interceptions. Are you able to force them into interceptions? Something Patriots defense hasn't gotten a lot of this season.
That's how the Patriots get in the 30s.
That's it.
So back to your round table question.
Yeah.
You're on a team like Washington, and 2 of your best players get traded away. How does that affect you as a remaining player? Is it like, well, they're giving up in the season, so should I? Or like, oh, here's my opportunity to shine?
Well, that depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Like if you're one of the young guys that's playing on the end now, what's the guy that Bill keeps talking about with the hyphenated name?
William Smith.
William Smith. This is these are big opportunities for those guys.
Right.
Now, if you're
what about like you're in the secondary and it's like, oh, they're trading away our defense?
Like Kendall Fuller is a veteran, and there's other guys that are young in the secondary too that are trying to figure it out, and they've been really bad, so they got to figure out how to play.
Yeah.
But maybe Phillips is benched.
Maybe some of those like Terry McLaurin type guys look at it like you're saying, Fred.
Yeah.
What are we playing for here?
Right.
That's the overarching theme of this game is who wants it more. Like who cares about winning on Sunday?
Who wants it
and
less?
That's why it's like I feel like I keep almost wanting to call them the R word. The Commanders have just like this, like fast and loose. We don't really give a flying F about like how we're going to play. We're just going to bombs away. We get killed, like whatever. Like they're just going to come in here.
He was
with
afraid to say Redskins, but he had no problem with the flying F.
Yeah, and the R word makes it sound so much worse than it is.
The R word.
Yeah, but no, that's my fear of this game too, Mike. Is that they drop back to pass more than any team in the
just
NFL.
like screw it.
Yeah,
we're just going to throw you. We're going to throw you.
They pass on first down more than just about any team in the league. They run their offense like they're the Kansas City Chiefs. Now they don't have
Without the talent.
they don't have Patrick Mahomes, so that's why they are where they are. But in terms of Bieniemy's not holding back the offense because he doesn't have Patrick Mahomes.
Just go for it.
He's just going for it.
It feels like a Jack Jones game where he's like, let's do this. Like they're just like, it's his kind of game where there's just going to be balls flying all over the place and he'll get some and he'll get beat. Probably the same with J.C. Jackson. It's like, I don't know. That's what I'm feeling like. This is just going to be one of those kind of crazy games where, especially the Commanders, it's hard to watch he's willing to stand in there and get drilled to put the ball down the field. And can they work out the back-end communication issues that we talked about from last week? Giving up big plays. Miami's one thing, though. This is something else, but still.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be a very tough game for the Patriots for sure.
Yeah. Especially like a Bentley. I think that's
home, I know home hasn't been a big advantage of late, but they should win this game.
They should. But I really have no idea if they will or not.
So, and I'm not. This is not snarky, Paul.
Yep.
I promise you, it's not.
Which Paul is this?
Based on what are we saying that they should win it? Because I don't think their talent is better than the other teams.
Well, because Evan says it's a train wreck. Yeah. It's a terrible team.
Yeah, I know, but did you ask him what he thought of the Patriots in the first 8 games?
Well, Belichick's here.
It just comes down to simple stuff for me, and it's not even like actual.
Like I'm not telling you the Patriots can't win, but I don't really understand the should part of it. Like you have so much more talent than Washington. This should be a win.
Yeah.
As long as you show up and
you're
play.
Right.
Like
it's a different.
I don't see that.
No, it's a different. I feel leaning should like 51-49. Like should.
I mean, it opened as a 1-point game. I
right.
think it's moved out to 3 with the trades and stuff and the things that have happened during the course of the week. This game is considered to be pretty even.
It's a 2-win team versus a 3-win team.
Right.
The 2-win team is at home, and it's like, they probably should win, but. I mean, it could go either way.
I mean, if I have to make a pick, I am picking the Patriots. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll give away the suspense for later in the show, but
it's not the same. Like, it's not the same juggernaut. Patriots are playing some crappy. They should win this one. I mean,
if they were playing the Raiders this week, I know they played them a couple of weeks ago. This week, with everything that's going on, I would say, they should win this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really I think Washington has some things that could cause problems.
Yeah, I do too, and I look at the way that the Commanders play on offense is just the total opposite of how the Patriots play on offense, and that they just don't, like Mike said, they just don't give an F. So like if he gets sacked or he turns the ball over, like so be it. But we're gonna go down swinging, right. And the Patriots play this conservative, approach on offense to not basically don't screw up offense is what they try to do, and that doesn't really lend itself too well to a team that's willing to throw the ball as much as Washington is. And he's the way to beat the Commanders is obviously to rattle Sam Howell. I mean, he's not very good. Like he's been sacked 41 times this year. That's 13 more sacks than any other quarterback in the league.
And how have the Patriots been against not very good quarterbacks? Pretty good.
Well, Zach Wilson.
That's the question. Like, I guess is like, do they still have that feather in their cap that against a quarterback that you can get to hold the football, that you can get to turn over the ball? Like, can they still rattle a bad quarterback?
Yeah. I just feel like he might be rattleable because he's taken so many sacks. He just seems like, I don't want to say he's a dumb person, but it's like he just is like, I don't know, I got sacked like 12 times in the game, I'll just keep throwing it. Like that seems like their philosophy. Like I don't know if he is rattleable. Like he's gotten killed and he just continues to stand in there and do the same stuff.
Well, but he throws interceptions.
Yeah,
right.
He only has 8.
Yeah. But not like this whole I don't really get it.
He's got a couple downfield dimes too this year that you're like,
yeah.
Oh, that was
how many games has he started?
All of them.
Oh, I thought the other guy started.
No, he only has 8 interceptions. He takes a lot of sacks.
13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean,
takes a ton of sacks. That's really his kryptonite.
41 sacks is what it is, but he's completing 67% of his passes. He's thrown for almost 2,150 yards. I mean, this is not a stiff.
No.
Now, I don't know. Maybe they just are behind every game and they throw and he gets a lot of plastic stats. That's in other words, he's Gardner Minshew.
Right.
Like You look up at the end of the day.
Is not a bad comp.
You look up at the end of the day, and he's throwing for like 285 and 3 touchdowns and a pick, and they lost 38-27. And it looks like he had a good day, but he really didn't because most of the damage he did, it's like Mac Jones has done this year, fourth quarter, 2-score games.
Yeah,
When it becomes infinitely easier. But
that's what he did against Philly. They were down
the
2
numbers
scores.
here, like Mac Jones's numbers don't even come close. And they've both thrown 8 interceptions, but Sam Howell has thrown the ball 48 more times than Mac Jones.
It's
it's almost the whole game.
And it's not like the Patriots have been winning every game, so they don't have to throw. They've been down by 2 scores every game except for one.
Right.
Yeah, no. So they were. He's like second or third in the league in attempts, but because he's been sacked so many times, he's first in the league in dropbacks. Right. So nobody dropbacks more of the pass than Sam Howell. Yeah. Like imagine saying
Here
that.
We
like,
go.
And number 2, I think, is Patrick Mahomes. Like so, that's the offense.
So
right?
if you do what Mike said, and he's going to throw, they throw the ball so much, and they just throw caution to the wind, and maybe JC or Jack Jones or Duggar comes up with a pick, or maybe even a pick 6. Then you could get you should win. You're going to get a comfortable win.
It might be the key to the game.
If it's one of those games where they don't turn it over, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how good I feel about.
Did we do keys to the game? I might have to make that my key, Paul.
Okay.
I might have to think of something. There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
Thinking about you, Key.
I really like this offense and
Fred's like, what are we looking at?
And what they do schematically too. And we talked about this a little bit on very end of Catch 22 about Bieniemy and like him as a head coach, down the line. And I definitely think that he's had Sam Howell. I mean, like Paul just read out the numbers. Like he's afloat. Like he's not lighting up the world, but like he's not completely bombing either. And I don't know if Sam Howell is necessarily a very good quarterback. So,
I don't either.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, it could just be plastic numbers. Yeah. And I've seen that happen many, many times. And all of a sudden you see a guy play and you're like, oh, that's what he does? And you're like, oh.
It's cute.
He doesn't turn, like, it's not about turnovers necessarily with him. What I see, like, he holds the ball forever, right? That's why he takes so many sacks. And when you move him off his spot, his accuracy just goes down the wayside. So even when he gets the ball out, if you can get him to have to reset in the pocket, it's weird because like he does reset, but it still the ball just sprays all over the place even anyway.
Can't
so
reset his accuracy.
There's like a couple of plays from that Eagles game where guys are wide open down the field and he has to reset in the pocket and they're like picking up grounders off the off the turf and you're like he's wide open guy, like just lob the ball to him. His accuracy, it can be really sporadic, especially under pressure.
It's scary. I feel like we're hitting on like everything I've kind of felt about this game this week. Is it's a scary matchup. I think they got some guys who can make some plays.
Well, that's because the Patriots are not very good.
There's no
That's absolutely
there's
true.
no game that's not
Plus the
scary.
fear should be gone because all right.
I've got to win. Is this a must win?
3-6.
But you also just like don't want to get embarrassed at home by the Commanders.
God.
Like even if you lose the game and it's
right.
comes.
See, that's another aspect of
it's
it.
like
That's
New Orleans,
just like one of those like this is one of those teams that like you can't lose to the Commanders, like right? Like even if they're pretty good, like they just has that they're one of those teams that has that like bad team stink on them.
Yeah.
Like Washington.
Yeah.
Can't lose to them, but they're okay.
They're okay.
Kind of like the Raiders.
So not a bad situation for a head coach to walk into.
Oh God.
Sam Howell.
All right, 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio at patriots.com
Mike,
is the
it's
email
nice to
address.
watch Fred do it to somebody else for a change. It's been a refreshing half hour for me.
If he gets to keep the enemy, then maybe they're in business.
I loved Bieniemy when he was in college at Colorado. He was one of my I always remember
Eric
watching
sleeping
him
with
play.
Bieniemy?
Yeah. Just ran like a terror.
I did like him at
always had like
at
the
Colorado.
big pads
Yeah.
with like the half shirt.
I liked
don't
those
know. Good
Colorado
look.
teams. They always were like kind of on the edge.
It's like a Cordell Stewart time, right? About
Yeah.
around the same time, right?
Yeah.
I can't really give him too much credit for the design of the offense because it's Andy Reid's playbook, right? Like he's just running the Chiefs' offense, but he's a good play caller.
Do you think he's a head coach consideration? I mean, we talk a lot
Yeah.
about like, hey, let's
Someone
get
has
that
him
hot.
in New England next year if Bill goes to Washington. I don't know who said that.
He should
today.
be one of those
That would be- I
offensive
would do
coordinator
that.
guys that
The only thing
up and
about it
coming.
is he's been interviewed so many times
right.
and never offered
Well, this
a
was
job.
a good move for him to, I think, to get out from underneath Andy Reid and to run his own offense. And, I mean, for all the issues we've talked about, it's, look, they don't have the best quarterback, but they're producing. They're producing more points than they're producing.
I mean, they have decent receivers.
Yeah.
Like Terry McLaurin's a good receiver. I think Dotson is
Okay.
I didn't really love Dotson coming out, to be honest with you, but I think that he's all right. And, Tamara's guy, Logan Thomas, is kind of sneaky.
Giant.
Red zone guy.
So they
Giant
have,
dude.
McLaurin has 42, Samuel has 35, and Dotson has 30.
It's good balance.
That's 3 receivers. Like, the Patriots have one guy that's over 25, and he tore his ACL.
Right. Ay. All right, let's get to the phones because we've got to hurry. Today is Picks Day. And by the way, somebody bought us lunch today.
Oh, yeah.
Pete in Ottawa.
Thanks, Pete.
Oh,
He's done that before.
that's nice.
And
Thanks,
he had
Pete.
a comment that I want to read because you buy lunch, you get whatever you have to say.
There
You
you
can
go.
say it.
You get the floor is
Yesterday,
yours.
he says Mike brought up the drafting classes. The drafting is enough of a reason to let Bill go at the end of the season. Brady hid the flaws of the drafting for years. Just my thoughts. So I know that's shared by many people.
Yeah.
I said this on Catch 22, so sorry if it's repetitive, but I don't like that. I don't like that. That I feel like it does does a disservice for the other players that were on the teams with Brady.
Yeah.
So he covered up things for years. Like, if you want to say he covered up things in 18 and they won the Super Bowl with a roster that maybe wasn't as loaded as it has in the past, I guess I could hear that argument. Go look at the 2016 and 2014 Patriots rosters. On both sides of the ball. They were so loaded on defense that some of the guys that ended up being on contributors on the 16 team couldn't even get on the field for the 14 team because they had too many guys in front of them. So I don't know. I just feel like it's not to discount Brady. I just think that you're discounting the guys that played with him when you're saying that. You're telling me that Brady covered up Devin McCourty and Dante Hightower being on his defense for half a decade. Okay, I guess he had to cover up those two guys.
Those are fair points, and those were Bill Belichick draft picks.
No, it's meant more as a shot at Bill. I think that's what people just. That's where they live.
No,
it's
I
either
know.
Brady or Bill.
I just feel like
they
we're-
the
mean it-
defense
they
and
mean
the
it
other
as a
parts.
shot
That's
to
not really
Bill,
part of the
but
conversation.
like Evan said, they're not giving credit to those players who were on those rosters.
Yeah, I
were
imagine
draft
what
picks.
those guys think about when people are like, "It was all Brady. It was all Brady. We know it now. It was all Brady." And it's like, yes, but of course, it's a team sport.
The big picture might have been all Brady, right? Brady might have been the engine of the entire thing and not Bill, and that I think has been told. That story has been told, but their rosters when they won Super Bowls were mostly incredible from top to bottom.
Well, in 14 they brought in Revis.
Yes,
They brought in that long other cornerback.
Brandon Browner.
Yep.
LaFell was
Who
good.
missed more games than he played, but that's okay.
But when he played, he made a difference.
Just that 1 year, right?
just
was
that
his
one play.
year.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
He had that big hit.
It's kind of the biggest play
yeah.
of the season.
He had a big
Yeah.
hit in San Diego that he lit some guy up and got called for it too.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
What?
I'll sit that one out.
What?
Brandon Brown.
I just think that you can cherry pick a team that was really stacked and you ignore 2006 where he drags a corpse of a team to the AFC Championship game. 2018 he drags a corpse of a team to a Super Bowl. Even 16 they're down 28-3. Nobody else does that. Nobody else wins that game.
And no one's disagreeing with that point. But it's
it was
just,
Brady. It was.
Okay,
I mean, they
so-
had
but,
good players with them.
But these other
it
good
was
players
Brady.
don't deserve any credit.
No, I didn't say they don't deserve any. But the guy's larger point, Pete, I kind of agree with Pete. I think since that was 2012 that you got Hightower in that crew.
Yep.
Since then, there's been a lot of misses in the draft, and it didn't really affect them because Brady was here, and he overcame it. I mean, 2014, their top wide receiver was what? Edelman and Brandon LaFell? Wait, no, it's
Guy
Brady.
named Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and he was great. Yeah, and there's a handful of great players. There's no question about it. Not that many though.
Okay, so
Everybody wants to complain and say that they don't have a lot of Hall of Fame players.
Well, how many great players does each team have? I mean,
let's just.
More than Brady.
So in 2014, all right, the team that won the Super Bowl in 2014.
Yeah, again, we'll cherry pick the one team.
Okay, you cherry picked the 2016.
No, I
team,
just rattled off about 5 different
okay,
years.
so
5,
16,
6,
14,
18,
07,
17,
04, 03.
It's amazing.
right.
The 03,
so
03 was not a loaded team. It was not. 04
Defensively?
was.
Defensively?
04 was. Yeah, Tyrone Poole stunk.
Oh, one guy.
Otis Smith, they had I'm telling you, I just think the longer he's away, the more disrespect that gets attached to him. Like
Brady?
Yeah, because it like somehow makes people feel
I think
bad.
it's the opposite, Paul.
Somehow people feel bad that they won 6, but we don't get the amount of credit that we should because Brady gets the credit. And like you get, I don't know.
No.
I told you, I should have just sat this
I think
one
the
out.
longer away, Brady gets more credit. That's the point. Is at what point do you lose sight of the fact that he had good players on his teams too? Like they weren't a bunch of stiffs.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying.
I would say that's true. Like in 1, 3, and 4, like he wasn't the guy who carried the team to a title.
No, but he could.
But after that,
he can still be the guy who carried all of those teams. But like to say that he covered up all these warts, I think
it's largely true.
He had some good players.
I agree with Pete. Pete, I'm with you, and I appreciate you buying lunch today.
I don't think anybody's discrediting Brady. I mean, Brady, like I just said, is the engine that put it all together. And there are definitely years where he carried teams that shouldn't have won as many
Would
games.
any of those rosters have won Super Bowls without Brady? Probably not. They needed a great quarterback.
Too many words in there.
But like
probably
they had
not
some.
Necessary.
Yeah, they had good players on those teams.
Good coaches too.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's just ebbs and flows too. If you're going to play for 20 years,
right?
Not every year you're going
Right.
to, you're going to have
Oh my
injuries.
God,
You're going to have, years where personnel moves just don't work out. And I mean, I think he was able to keep the ship steady through those ebbs and
no
flows.
doubt. 06 is a good example.
Yeah. And to Paul's point, some of that self-inflicted. Some of that stuff where, just signed frickin' Deion Branch, you probably would have had another Super Bowl. And I mean, I think that was, as much as Lawyer Malloy was kind of a shot across the bow of this, how things were going to go here. I mean, I think Branch was really like that's Brady's guy. I mean, he's just coming, 2 years, he's the Super Bowl MVP. The guy had like 20 catches in the last 2 Super Bowls. I think that was a little bit more of a harbinger of some of the decisions they would make that ultimately kind of cost them, I think, in some areas.
I just think there's a difference between, like, they won Super Bowls and they were great because of Brady. And I don't think anybody denies that point to this point anymore. But I just think that I still want to give credit to some of the other players on the team. And I think when we just say it's all Brady, it was 100% Brady, you're just not giving credit to a lot of guys that played a lot of really, really good football for this team.
And you're not giving credit for Bill for constructing those teams.
I give him less credit.
Okay.
I give the players more.
Well, somebody had to bring him in here.
Your point is fair. I just, I think that the whole point is that the players drove this more than maybe we realized.
Okay. All right, 855-PATS-500. Let's go to Eddie in L.A. What's up, Eddie?
Hi, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Love the show. I want to ask you guys about the wide receiver room. So we lost KB. I want to know who you guys think can step up and maybe give us like a glimpse of hope for the future. And I will exclude Demario Douglas just because obviously he's the one that's kind of breaking out right now. But who else do you guys think can have a better season? And one more question. Obviously, Will Levis had a kind of a crazy game last week. And I'm not like hyped up about it, but if he has a good, not great season, just a good one, do you guys count it as a miss on the scouting department? That's all I got for you guys. Love the show. Bye.
Thanks.
Where did he go exactly? I don't know.
Second round.
I personally don't. I don't think they were in line for a quarterback in the first round last year. Do you?
No. But
I mean, should have been. Do you think they should have been looking for a quarterback? I wouldn't.
Not where he went, and not a consideration. If he was
I think
still
it
there when
was the second
Keon White
pick
was
of the second round, like the second pick.
I wouldn't have taken him there either. I mean, like if he was available like in the middle rounds, and you just like that whole drafting quarterbacks is good business kind of thing.
Then a lot of teams missed him.
Fine.
It's
but
probably a little too early.
I don't think
for
the
that
Patriots should have been in the market for a
first
quarterback.
pick, 33rd overall.
First time.
It's about the
first
receivers.
question, which was again kind of a roundtable question. I don't like saying this, and I'm sorry, but I think you got to give Juju a shot. Like if he's healthy and he can go. I mean, he kind of does. He's supposed to be able to do what Bourne kind of does with a little bit of inside-outside
flexibility. He's the guy with the most
flexibility.
experience.
He's got experience. You paid him. Like at some point, I feel like they just have to say, look, we have to really put you out there and give you a high volume of work. And everybody out there screaming at their radio right now saying it's got to be Kayshon Boutte, it's got to be Tyquan Thornton, and I kind of agree, but just from an organizational standpoint with what you've given this guy and what the expectations are, and you really need him right now to step up. And so I feel like you put it on him and say, can you do it?
Booty, but Taekwon, for the same reason. We drafted you in the second round, and I'm sorry, but you need to start producing.
And I think
Was
for
that
Parker,
the guy that you picked, Fred?
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, for Parker's absence, I think that Thornton makes a lot of sense. And same kind of thing, like throw him out there, let him play on the outside. Keep Pop out there, and then make it. It's going to be Thornton and Juju maybe as the primary kind of two, and
By the way, can we have Ty Montgomery get out there?
I don't know what he does.
Catch some
I don't know
passes
what
on third
he does.
down?
I don't know why he's here. Like they don't use him for anything. Like he returns kicks and covers kicks. And
He watches the ball sail over his head on kickoffs. That's his role.
And everyone makes fun of us. But every practice we watch, he seems like kind of can play, and then we've gotten to the season, and he's
I don't
just
really like the way it looks when he's on the field in games.
In games, all of a sudden, it's like, no, this is the Ty Montgomery of.
I think he's been targeted twice, was picked once, and almost picked the other time.
Right, it just happened to bounce into his hands.
Maybe play him at running back, and not
right,
receiver.
Right.
I don't know. I would say that for Parker, it's obviously Taekwon, and for Bourne, it's obviously Booty. Like they're different types of players. So. I don't know. I'm interested to see Booty if they let him play. I'm still not sold they're going to let him play. If they let him play, him playing in Bourne's spot is definitely more his natural position than playing on the boundary like he did in week 1. So maybe he does show us a little something if he's actually playing the role he should be playing. He's not an X.
What do you think they're going to do with Juju then? Do you think they just
Left
continue to
bench.
bury him? Yeah.
I mean, I don't see what Juju's purpose is beyond this year. And, I think you have to get some answers about some of these younger receivers.
That's kind of how I answered it.
Yeah.
Thinking in those terms. I think I know what Parker is. I think I know what Juju is.
Yeah.
I was looking, what are these young guys that we haven't seen at all?
Do you think
what might they be able to do?
Do you think in Bill's heart of hearts he believes that this season can be turned around?
Yes.
Yep.
That's, I think, a big problem.
Yeah.
I think he believes that they could win 8 straight games and be right back in it.
I kind of agree with that.
I think that's in the back of his head, and I still think he just kind of continues
we agree sometimes
to approach things like he always has, which in a way I kind of admire. But it's just Washington. We're focused on short term, and and I think what he doesn't probably concretely think about, and if we win one, we can. But we have to win one game, and then we can start stacking them together.
I know it was an innocent comment, but it really stood out to me when he was talking about Washington, and they want to see what their young guys can do. So he acknowledges that is a way to approach a game. There's no other way than to play.
Yeah. They got 3 wins.
He acknowledges that's a mindset that you could have.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I don't read much into it though. I think that's Bill's MO when he's talking up the other team. Don't think just because they traded away their 2 best players that means they're going to mail it in. Yeah. They're coming at us with young guys. They want to see what those young guys can do. Right. That's his version of 2004 Cleveland can score from anywhere on the field. Yeah. I'm going to make sure I tell you something good about the other team.
Did they have Josh Cribbs? But I think that's that's the difference that I'm concerned. Like Mike, you said Juju. I think they're saying Juju because they are still trying to win games, and I there's something to be said for that. I'm not trying to knock them for it, but at what point, and this kind of goes back to the Jared Stidham, Cam Newton thing, right? At what point do we get to the point of the season where it's all right, well now we really need to see what Kayshon Boutte can do.
Right.
Maybe Kayshon Boutte can play a little bit, and then
he has to be active in the game.
Oh, he'll be active, but will he play?
Yeah. I mean, Rager,
Thornton,
Boutte.
Forgot about Rager.
Juju,
Pop.
Yeah.
Right. So Pop, Juju, and Rager.
Yeah. So you're right. There's a chance that he doesn't have a role.
Yeah.
I suppose. But
Anthony's in Seattle. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, what's up, my people?
Hey.
Hey, so I'm calling Evan. I got your back, man. And listen, I'm sorry for always being a couple days behind, but I don't listen live. But Tuesday's argument, I had to jump in. So. I'm with Evan on, he made a statement like, our resources need to go to offense. This defense, when healthy, I think this defense is set. I'm with Evan on that. And you guys, there was kind of some pushback from Paul and Fred on, whether or not we have great players or, whatever way you want to superlatives or whatever you want to use. I'm going to use the term big-time players or high-end players. I think we got small sample size, but Gonzo, definitely Judon, who may not be part of this team's future, but he's as currently constituted another high-end player. And then you guys, I think you guys might disagree with this because I feel like he gets downplayed, but I think Kyle Duggar, he's been my favorite player since like his second year in the league. I've never seen the guy get moved backwards. I think last year he blossomed into that more of a playmaker, and now they're taking him away from the line of scrimmage. But I think that's another high-end player, whether or not you guys agree or not. And then a couple like young potential ones, but I got to play the guys. But I think White, when he plays, Barmore's inconsistent, but he's shown he can be a force. And I would love to see Mapu play linebacker and see what's there, because I think there's a lot of potential there. My last point, and I'll get off the line, is the 49ers defense was brought up, and Paul said, they have great players. Well, I'd say, sure, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, but who else? Because I don't think we don't have anybody on our front seven like those two guys, but I don't think they have anybody in their secondary like Gonzalez or Duggar.
They don't have anybody like Duggar or Gonzalez?
In San Francisco, they play with leads, and their offense scores, so they're in favorable positions where their defense gets to showcase their talent. And so I think I just wanted to push back on our I think our defense is set when healthy.
All right, thanks, Anthony. I thought my stance on that was, in today's NFL, the Patriots have a defense that's fine. That's good enough.
But we're saying
I agree with you.
What the defense is supposed to be, though, right? Like with Judon and Gonzalez not currently constituted, right?
At full strength.
I mean, Gonzalez played 3 games. Yeah. But, yeah, I think they're fine. I totally agree with Fred. I agreed with you on Tuesday on that.
Eldred's in North Carolina. Hey, Eldred. Eldred.
Hey, fellas. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
We can.
Okay, sorry about that. Evan, I would love to argue with you, but I ain't got time. Paul, I agree with you and Pete, and we'll always stick that argument. But question: y'all was talking about Bill maybe going to the Commanders, and I know it's just talk, but if I was the players on there, I'd be kind of worried because of the roster building he does in New England. So that means Terry and Dotson, whoever come up with a contract, they won't get paid and they get away.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be worried about.
That's a legit worry.
I think we're going to keep him another year. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Eldred.
It's his first move, trade Terry McLaurin. Would that be the?
I think he's talking about the whole Brady thing, and like I don't know. I don't think like we disagree as much as
no, it's not I don't think it was like all Brady. I just don't think you won anything without him. That's all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Will's in Florida. Hey, Will.
Hey, how you guys doing? I wanted to call in and address something Mike said at the top of the show that kind of struck a chord with me when he said that he finds it weird or hard to root for the other team or to root for our losses. That couldn't be further from the truth for me, dude. I literally wear pom-poms for the other team weekly. Why would you want this team to win any games? I fell into a mini depression when we beat Buffalo.
Because there's other ways to do it. I think that the notion that you have to tank and that's the only way out of this is incorrect. I think that it's been proven to be incorrect. In fact, like I don't think a lot of teams that have tanked have, really. I think there's a lot of proof that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, your roster is completely in shambles if that's what you do.
And plus, losing breeds losing. It's a culture thing. And I can't tell you, and I know, Will, you weren't here, but after that Bills win, I mean, our office, it was like, wow, everyone like came in with a jump in their step, and it just felt a lot better.
It made me sick. It made me sick to my stomach. And everybody just, Mac this and Mac that. I'm like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Like, I feel like I just want to stand at the top of a mountain and just scream, he is not good. Why don't...
Jeff in New Bedford wants a word.
Yeah. But I just don't.
Thanks.
I don't think it's just like about Mac being good or not. It's about there's 52 other guys on the team, and like you gotta. I think that there's other ways to do it. Like that's it. Like
but this whole conversation we just had about Brady. Like if you're being realistic about really believing that they don't win anything without the quarterback, like how do you not say the thing that makes most sense right now for the betterment of this franchise is to lose every single game and try to get Caleb Williams, because a quarterback is what you need in this league, period. Like, doesn't matter if you don't have that guy, you're not going anywhere, you're not winning anything. So I think it's the reality and the truth of that.
But the danger in that and why I don't do that. Like I understand why people do, but I don't root for losses with my team because there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
Like that guy is going to do what you think he's going to do, and I'm not suggesting you don't draft him, and that's,
Well, it's just hard to say we're going to lose every game on purpose to get him.
Right, and I know that no one loses every game on purpose. I've been through that a million times. Like, Arizona's doing it perfectly right now. Like, they
let the kids go out there and try hard. They're not going to be good enough at the end of the day.
And I do think, and I don't know how good the coach is, but I know they play hard for him. So I do think that they're sort of establishing some kind of culture, even though they're 1-7. They play really hard. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I would let Kyler Murray play and figure it out, because maybe you don't have to have that top pick.
Yeah.
And,
right.
If he comes back and you think he's working and, all that stuff, and you don't have to take a quarterback with the pick that you're going to get, first of all, there's no pressure to have to get one.
Yeah.
Number one. So in other words, if you win these games, you're not in a depression like Will in Florida.
Or you get your next Larry Fitzgerald, right?
I mean, maybe you take Marvin Harrison. Maybe you take a stud on defense. Maybe you take a I don't know. Whatever you want. If Kyler Murray proves that he's healthy and productive and Jonathan Gannon likes him.
I just also think that I think the reason why Patriots fans want them to tank, or some Patriots fans want them to tank, is because this organization has not really shown that they are aggressive in the draft to trade up. So an only way to get the quarterback is if you actually have the pick originally to take the quarterback. But so many other teams have traded up for the quarterback that weren't a complete mess to tank to get to the number one pick. And I think that that's where it comes in as well. Like, Kansas City traded up for Patrick Mahomes and drafted him like 10th overall. Now that was a kind of a fluke that he fell that far, I guess you could say, but they were a really good team with Alex Smith. They were a playoff team, and they knew that it wasn't good enough, that they had a ceiling, and then they traded up for Patrick Mahomes, and here they are. So that's why I think that tanking can't be the only answer. There's several other ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, most recently, I guess the most famous team or most famous tank was the Colts, right? How they got Andrew Luck.
And Jacksonville kind of tanked for Trevor Lawrence, too.
See, it turned out that way, but they didn't know that Peyton Manning wasn't going to be able to play that season. They didn't go into the 2011 season saying, Andrew Luck's coming out next year. What do we got to do to make sure we get him?
But once they knew there was a parade to the hot tub.
But I actually think it was the opposite, and I think that I think Polian made a gross mistake by signing Kerry Collins like 5 days before the season and saying he's going to be my quarterback, because he foolishly thought we can win games and make it with this guy. It should have been Tank-a-Palooza right from the start. It ended up that way. He got lucky.
Curtis Painter.
It's like Cam Newton.
He got lucky.
It's like Cam Newton again.
All right. We're going to take a break. As you can see, Paul's feast is here. Thank you, Pete in Ottawa, for buying lunch today. Appreciate that. And we'll be right back after this.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
And we are back with the PU Halftime Show. Faith, joining me again. You might as well just be the co-host.
I call myself the co-host.
You know what? Yeah, add that to your resume real quick. Guys, this is going to be the last halftime show for a while because the Pats are going to Deutschland.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a quick Thursday Night Football preview, as we've been doing. I think the people like it. We want a good game. But, Faith, as always, we are going to start with some trivia. All right.
What do we got?
There's a hint. You can find the answer to this on some Patriots content. Maybe the app. Cough, cough, hint, hint.
Ooh.
All right, question 1. And, guys, this is to win either a poster or a T-shirt. Matt Morrell is going to send you something good. So, question 1. What was the original NFL team awarded to the city of Boston / New England in 1932?
1932.
All right, way back. Question 2. The Patriots last played the Commanders at home on Week 9 of 2015 in a 27-10 victory. In that game, the leading Patriots receiver had 5 receptions for 102 yards. Who was it?
Boo.
Question 3. In an offseason where the Patriots signed famous wide receiver Chad Ochocinco Johnson, which other former Washington player did they also sign?
Ooh, a little Washington?
Yeah, because I said, hey, send your answers into webradio@patriots.com. As I said, there's a hint of where you can find them. But, Faith, let's get into it. Thursday Night Football, you know how I am with these games. I just want something fun to watch on a Thursday night.
Yep.
And tonight we got Titans versus the Steelers in Pittsburgh. All right?
I feel like this is going to be a very evenly matched game.
I think so, too, and I think we might be in store for a really good game.
I think so.
We got Will Levis, who had his
Levis.
welcome, the Mayo Man, had his welcome to the NFL moment last week in a exciting 28-3 win over the Titans, where he had 238 yards and 4 touchdowns, with 3 of those bad boys going to DeAndre Hopkins, who some might say he should be in New England, but that's a different story.
Some might say that. Yes.
And then we had Kenny Pickett, who started the game, and then he got hurt. And I don't know where he's at for this game.
According to recent reports, he says that he will be playing on Thursday. So we'll see if that means that he'll start, and then we'll see how the game goes, if it kind of gets aggravated as the game goes. But supposedly he's all in. So.
And they got Deontay Johnson back, a wide receiver.
Yep.
Who he put up 8 catches for 85 yards.
Yes.
So we got.
I think this is going to be really high scoring. I don't see the defenses shining in this game.
No,
personally.
and they're both a little banged up because it's a quick turnaround. But I'm leaning towards the Titans in this. I think Will Levis keeps the hot streak going. I think you're never going to see Ryan Tannehill start another game in Tennessee.
No, and I also think when you have DeAndre Hopkins, Will Levis just has to get the job done enough. Get the ball in the general area, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to be fine. And also I think 2 of his scores, Hopkins was wide open. So I feel like they're going to run all over Pittsburgh's defense, and then if Kenny Pickett is healthy enough, I could see them sticking with it, keeping it close to the end. But again, I think the Titans are going to win too. I think, they're in a tough spot. Now they're 3-4 going against the 4-3 Steelers. I think the Titans pull it out.
And they also got King Henry. Don't forget about him.
I know. You can't forget about him.
It's crazy. These running backs turn 30 and people forget about them. Guys, I'm 30. Come on. King Henry just ran for 101 yards.
True.
No, so I had a talk with a friend who is a Steelers fan, and he says the Steelers are just stuck in purgatory because Mike Tomlin's too good of a coach, where he's never had a losing season, so even the team's not that good. He's still a good enough coach that he's going to get them middle of the pack. They might sneak in at the wild card.
Yeah.
And, sometimes, as we are experiencing now, you just need that bad season where you can get a difference maker.
It's true.
So I don't know if I don't know where you're at as a Steelers fan, because it's you're 4-3, but it's not that convincing.
No, I feel like if they're lucky, they'll squeeze into the wild card for sure. But
you got that tough division there. You got Burrow, Lamar Jackson.
You're not winning the division, that's for sure.
No.
You're getting 3rd place at best.
And they have Najee Harris, and he's not even their best running back. That was their 1st-round pick, and Jalen Warren. I think his first name is.
I believe so. Yeah.
He's better than Najee Harris, in my mind.
Yeah.
So, Faith, let's get some score predictions here.
All right.
We thinking shootout. What were we at? What was our Thursday night game last week? It was Bucks Bills, and we weren't that far off.
No, we weren't that far off. The Bills did end up kind of running away with it.
We had the Bucks winning. We had the Bucks winning, but the score was similar.
Yes. Okay. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be high scoring. But do you think both teams reach in the 30s, or is that too much?
I'll go first.
All right.
I think Tennessee 31.
Yeah.
Steelers 27, 20,
okay.
25, 27.
Yep. I can agree with that. 31-27. Titans favor. I feel like this is just going to be one of those games where I hope the Titans come out strong with it, and then like it makes the Steelers have to react. Like I feel like regardless of what happens, the Steelers are going to have to be reactionary to how like Will Levis is going to run this game. So I don't know. Hopefully 31-27.
Do we think Will Levis like comes in hot again? And
I
just
feel like
because
he's
I wasn't
gonna
expecting
be-
that. I wasn't expecting that last week.
I think he's going to be on this like Brock Purdy like high for a little bit. I don't know how long it will last. I don't see it lasting like, I don't know. But I think like coming off of last week, his confidence has to be up. Maybe not 4 touchdowns, maybe not, but like I still think he's going to be kind of Purdy for a little bit.
Yeah, I feel that.
Then he'll drop at some point.
It's funny. My phone's been buzzing all week because all my fantasy leagues, Will Levis keeps getting picked up on the waiver wire.
I know.
Everybody's feeling him. I think Purdy has a solid game. I think the difference maker here is King Henry. I mean, every Thursday night game I watch, he has one of those crazy runs. So
yes.
I expect a big game out of him. All right, so we both have the Titans.
Yeah.
Both have the Titans. I love it. Guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back not next week, in 2 weeks, I believe. And also, I always push this. We're playing the Commanders at home. Check out the posters. They're good stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you, and let's get back to Patriots Unfiltered.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx, and with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
And now, great moments in history.
They have more than
We'll
you're
see.
giving them credit
We'll
for.
see if they play.
Okay.
If they play, then I'll say I was wrong.
Okay.
But last year they didn't play. The youth didn't play. It took like 8 weeks for Ramondre Stevenson to like fully establish himself as a player.
Mac Jones pretty young.
But I feel like they got rid of 3 of their oldest linebackers.
and Devin McCourty is pretty old.
You're still beating the old drum as hard as you were beating it last year when they got rid of the old. I mean, they got rid of they're turning over. They're doing their linebackers. Well, 3.
And they brought back one of them.
1.
Yeah, I don't like
So
that.
3 to
I
1.
want young guys to play.
Who's
I
the
don't
one
want.
you mean McCourty?
I don't want McMillan and Bentley to play. I want McGrone and Perkins to play. Like if they do play, I'll say I was wrong. He's playing them.
I'm
want
good
skeptical.
players to play. I don't really care at this point if you're 28 or 24. Like that, you know what I mean? Like
I do. Like because you're not going to get better with 28-year-olds that are already cratered in their career.
Ouch.
28. Yeah, that's the way that league goes. Like quarterbacks can play forever, and there's random exceptions, but linebackers don't generally just keep on plugging.
Offensive linemen can play longer.
Yeah, there's always exceptions. I'm not telling you that, again, when I use the terms like always, never, no one, everyone, like I don't mean those terms literally. There's always exceptions.
Words have meaning, Paul.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered.
That was a good one. Mike was coming back at me.
855-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Evan has left for practice, so he'll be coming back from practice soon.
Yeah.
So
I unfortunately got mayo all over myself, so I was cleaning up, so I didn't get to hear it. But like, it's funny when we hear those arguments. And
it was the old new. I still have the same one today. I'm a one-trick pony. And it's not about anybody in particular because if you look at the guys that I was actually talking about, we're talking about linebackers.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want Raekwon McMillan playing. I didn't want Jawan Bentley playing. But I was saying I'd rather see Cameron McGrone and Ronnie Perkins than neither one of those.
That's what I was.
I'm not even sure they're in the league.
That's why. Well, it's like there's always a perspective. A couple years later, like some of the arguments where like, oh my gosh, like we're talking about like Newton and stuff. And you're like, man, if we could just go back. But that's funny. I want to see Ray.
And again, it's not like
get Cameron McGrone.
The Stidham thing to me wasn't because I thought you had like Russell Wilson, mid-round pick, star, in the waiting.
Right.
It's just like I know what Newton is.
I know what Raekwon McMillan's not going to help you win games. Maybe in retrospect that maybe is Juwan Bentley a little bit better than I gave him? Maybe. I still don't think he's a difference maker, but he's probably a better player than I gave him credit for.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the other guys are.
But, in many ways, not these specific examples, but you can't help but say, like, why didn't we do this earlier? Why don't you turn it over? You would have maybe had a little bit more sense. I mean, was that like 2020 probably when they were bringing back like Van Noy and everybody?
It was a good one, though.
I think it was. Yeah. There were some guys, they were bringing back the band.
Yeah, run it back. Yeah. The boogeyman.
Mm-hmm. Cole in Denver writes in, believe it or not, we've got a game this Sunday, and I've got some questions about the opponent.
Got some questions.
Emmanuel Forbes was picked ahead of Gonzo. How's that working out?
Not good. He's not. He's benched.
He's got benched.
Yeah.
Okay. Washington traded their pass rushers to play the young guys. Who are they? Do they have potential, or are they nobodies?
Yeah, they hired. Bill highlighted Casey Tuhill and James Smith-Williams. A couple depth guys that have been rotating through, but they still have Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, and those two guys are very good. On the inside, so it's going to be a challenge for the Patriots guards, I think.
Jahan Dotson has had a disappointing season. Why?
I don't know if I'd say that.
Why?
I wouldn't. I mean, he's been fairly productive. I've seen him
I
make a couple plays.
I don't watch the Commanders, but 30 for 291 and 2 touchdowns isn't terrible.
He'd be like our leading receiver.
He's as the number 3 guy,
right? And I think Samuel's kind of banged up right now. I know he didn't practice yesterday, so that's one to watch. But those 3 guys are better than what the Patriots got right now.
What has Eric Bieniemy been doing to make the Commanders so productive on offense despite an abysmal offensive line? Are you interested in him as the next head coach of the Patriots?
Oh, that's a good question. We kind of talked about it already. Evan was dialing into that a little bit, but I just think their willingness to throw the ball and to continually go back and attack it, and I think that's something that teams generally need against the Patriots. They need that aggressiveness, and just you're going to take this defense down. You're going to go right at them and throw the ball down the field, and if they pick off a pass, okay, we'll come back and do it again. So yeah.
I would just say trying to score, and I know it sounds like simple, but Evan made that comment yesterday about will they be willing to try to win shootouts, and I think that Bieniemy has a mindset like if we can go out and get This is kind of back to my Brady thing, and I felt like it was an enormous advantage that those Patriots teams had, was knowing that Brady's going to put up 30 today. You're going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
And if you
hanging over your head.
And if you can't, you lose. And I think that was a huge mental edge that he had in some games when they were playing teams with sort of commensurate ability. They would play the Colts in the the mid-2000s. And Peyton Manning would go into those games knowing I can't punt today because the other guy ain't going to punt.
Yeah.
Not against our defense.
Or even coming down the stretch, like knowing they're going to make a push. Like you always knew they're going to make a push. The game is not secure until it is won.
And I think that is an enormous edge that Brady's production gave those
couple more
20 years of Patriots.
Sam Howell, little fellow who I've been told doesn't throw past 5 yards, kind of like Mack in that way, but more athletic and tougher. Would you agree?
No, I would not agree with that.
I totally disagree. Doesn't throw past 5 yards.
Yeah, he probably throws it down the field too much.
Whoever told you that is wrong.
Wrong.
And is Ron Rivera on the hot seat?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah. Anytime you're trading guys away.
Well, I'd say he's close to being out.
So he is on the hot seat, but they let him run the deadline.
They let him run the deadline or Martin Mayhew?
No, they let him run the deadline.
Because the one of the guys said that Mayhew, San Francisco, said that when they were talking to Mayhew that they actually offered both of the guys, both Sweat and Chase Young.
Wow.
So
and
maybe
what would you give us for both?
Maybe that's wrong, but I read in the Athletic they had like the Niners guys and the they did like a joint post and the Washington guys, and they said that Ron Rivera has full control in Washington.
Huh?
Oh, P.S. Someone tell
He's
Evan.
He's a full control guy, huh?
Someone tell Evan that 3 up, 3 down on a Thursday show is a bad idea.
I disagree.
Okay.
We do our show on Thursday. I don't know when else we're supposed to do it.
Evan.
Oh. Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
All right, Evan, what do you got?
Drum roll.
I know it's colder today than it was yesterday.
So, you want the good news first or the bad news?
Bad.
Good.
Oh.
Oh. Fred, you're the
bad news. Two out of three.
Bad news as Trent Brown, Calvin Anderson, Devontae Parker, and a new absence today, Devon Godshaw.
Oh,
not at practice. Not at practice.
But Farrow's back.
The good news.
Farrow
See,
guy.
I wanted the good news first because I like
the
Farrow
best
Brown.
tight end in football, according to Pro Football Focus. Farrow Brown is back at Patriots
and you
practice.
can take off the minimum snaps now because
you can. He is no
official.
minimums, better than Travis Kelce.
It's like minimum 200 snaps. He's got 200 on the nose.
Per puff.
Reminds me of like that 80s Saturday Night Live skit with Ditka.
Hurricane Ditka?
Yeah.
George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Farrow Brown.
or 10 mini Ditkas.
Farrow.
Right. But the Hurricane's name is Hurricane Ditka.
All the guy does is catch chunk plays.
Yeah.
That's all. Every time he touches the ball, it's a plus 10.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
I love it. It was colder out there today.
It's freezing.
I
man.
literally had ice on my car.
I'm gonna have to
today.
start wearing a jacket, huh?
I had to like scrape ice off my windows today.
Had to scrape.
Yeah,
that's
yes, I was going
sick.
to text you last night. Put the heat on.
Yeah. Well, November 2nd, you made it.
I know,
You made
but-
it. You try to push like
well,
bonus
yeah,
time.
I want to live fast and loose.
Just upset about that. So because it was really cold out, was everyone in shorts?
No, but it was
Was
funny.
everyone in
because
shorts?
That's how they do it.
I
I
was eating my turkey sandwich on the way, trying to finish my lunch. So I actually got there right as they were letting us into practice. And so Barth was like, "Oh, I thought maybe because it's so cold, you just weren't going to come today." And I was like,
I got a theme song. I have to live
yeah,
up to
I
it.
was like, if I didn't have obligations, then I would have considered it.
So
obligations like telling Fred what the mood was.
Yeah,
were
exactly.
they bundled up or not?
Yeah, the players, yeah.
Oh, they were.
We're seeing a lot of scuba suits starting to
Really?
come out. Full. J.C. Jackson
That's
has
that's a
the
little
full head.
performative, if you ask me.
Mac had on one last week.
It is incredibly,
It's not incredibly. Come on.
it's not incredibly
It's 44
cold.
degrees right now.
No, but it's
a
bitter
wind chill.
out there.
It's a wind chill.
And I'm just,
Is
it's
it
not
windy?
incredibly cold. But the fact that we went from what it was last week all of a sudden
yeah.
to this week, it's kind of a shock to the system.
I'm
I
surprised
was
they
golfing
didn't-
Saturday, and now it's 44.
it was
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It was 35 degrees this morning on the Cape, so it was
Yeah.
probably a little colder up here.
I'm surprised they didn't let you stay out there for like 20 minutes. Usually that's the MO when it's
Well,
like
so
freezing out.
yesterday,
They'll be
yesterday
through
they
period 2, guys.
they did the whole break in between thing
Oh,
that I was
yeah.
telling you guys about last week, and I admit I considered not
Going
waiting
back?
it out. I was like,
Forget it.
So
I choose not to run.
was the media contingent abuzz about this whole Commanders thing?
the media contingent was light today.
Oh, because
Really?
We were missing some people.
Wow, what
Really?
a bunch of soft.
No days
So,
off. What's going on?
Listen, the fair weather,
They're
bad
letting go of
weather,
the
2-6 or 6-2. This
Yeah,
has
they
got to
just-
be there.
They just
you
want to
had
go.
you had a Celtics and Bruins game last night.
Bruins game tonight.
Oh,
not
tonight?
today.
Okay.
I'm
Bruins
going,
play
yeah.
tonight.
Who they play?
The hospital Bruins. play
Toronto,
Maple
but
Leafs.
it's one of those ESPN Plus games.
Oh, so we can't even see it.
Well,
you
I'm
can.
going to see it
You
like
going?
13 rows up. But yeah.
Mr. Fancy.
See what he did there?
And watch
He's
it.
going.
Is this game 10 for
the hospital Bruins, because every defenseman on the Bruins roster is
Well,
out. so-
Charlie McAvoy's throwing elbows. I don't know about
Yeah, he's
he
also
does
been
his own
thrown
good.
out.
Well, he's not playing.
Right.
4-game suspension.
Yeah. Neither is Grizzlick. Neither is Forbert. Yeah, they're in trouble.
So, anything else to report from
What's the mood?
Access?
Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cold as a mood.
you're starting to get a little bit of we're human, and the fact that the team is 2-6, and now it's 40 degrees out, and we're standing out there talking about who's the corner that they signed today, and how he's wearing 28, just like Amir Speed. It just doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. So there's definitely some.
He's wearing 28.
Yeah. Oh.
Like Speed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we
He's
just
on the
call him
practice
Speed?
squad.
I already have him in my
Just call him Speed.
my favorites.
Yeah. So
Like, who's Amir Speed?
He's already in the dictionary.
I will admit it.
I forget the guy's name.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
What was he? Oregon State or
Yeah, Oregon
Colorado?
State. Yep.
Yeah, he was
Alex Austin.
Yeah, drafted by somebody, and then he was just on
Buffalo, 7th round
yeah,
pick.
and then he was on.
And he was on
Texans
someone's practice.
And now he's on the roster. The 50
right on the roster.
Yeah.
So is he like Amir Speed? They needed another special teams.
But the
guy?
thing is weird is that he's not Amir Speed, no pun intended, was very fast.
Yeah.
Like
And this guy's not.
No,
considered to
he
be-
ran a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, so
he is 6'1", isn't he?
Yeah, he's got similar size, I would say, but not anywhere near the athlete that.
Freddie, we got some trivia questions.
Yeah, we gave during halftime. We gave away some posters and a poster and a T-shirt. So we have the game day poster program. You can get that on Patriots.com. Each poster is signed and numbered by the artist. There's only 275 available for each game. They're all unique. It's a different artist for every game, so that's pretty cool. The first question is, the original NFL team awarded to the city of Boston / New England in 1932 was?
The Redskins.
No.
That's the R word.
Yeah, technically you're right, Paul. But it was the Boston Braves.
Oh.
And they became the Redskins.
Oh,
now
okay.
the Commanders. Yeah.
Okay.
And Shady.
It's not a beepable word.
Shady won that. Eminem.
Shady.
Slim?
Yeah.
Does that mean Matt won?
You got to send it to 8 Mile, Matt.
I'll never get there.
The Patriots last played the Commanders at home on Week 9 of 2015. In a 27-10 victory, that game, the leading Patriots receiver had 5 receptions for 102 yards. Who was it?
Deion Lewis.
Incorrect.
Hogan.
Incorrect. Paul?
Who is Hogan?
And again, we never know if these answers.
Brandon LaFell.
Brandon LaFell is correct.
I believe it's the Deion Lewis torn ACL game.
I knew it was something Deion Lewis. I knew that.
I think he tore his ACL in that
was
game.
Talk about buzzkill injuries. Had some this year. That was a buzzkill injury.
Joel and Hull won that. And finally, in
Joel.
an offseason where the Patriots signed wide receiver Chad Ochocinco Johnson, which former Washington player did they also sign?
Big Al. Big Al.
Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah.
Andrew in
knocking the rust off.
L.A.
That was my
good signing.
That was my remember. Like he just every time he talked to him was like, I'm just still knocking the rust off. It's like 3 months into the season.
He did nothing in training camp. Like never like flashed it at all. And then in a preseason game, like he drew a holding call, and there were like 5 sidebars written about it. Like, it was like he drew a holding call. Like,
the rust
is
like.
Like the bar is like so ridiculously low at this point, and like 3 days later he was gone.
Who was the other big guy that they had inside? Not like Brandon Dederick, but he was a veteran.
Brandon Dederick, good pull right there.
Like there was another big guy, big veteran that was here for a few years next to Vince on the inside. Kind of playing that Hainsworth role. I'm blanking on what his name was.
Keith Traylor?
No, later.
Keith Traylor was a nose tackle, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what you
like.
Just
who
said.
was 14? Who was on 14 defensive tackles?
He played next to
Vince.
Vince, he said.
Yeah.
Alan Branch.
Alan
Branch was really good.
Yeah. I wasn't saying he wasn't. I just forgot his name.
I thought
he came from Buffalo, right?
I think he did come from Buffalo.
Yeah. Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
He did look like Uncle Phil.
There you go.
Absolutely.
That brings it all. That's exactly who it was. I could see his face.
Peace, Uncle Phil.
Yeah. First things first.
Travis in West Virginia says, just my opinion, but I think Belichick thinks Washington is a trash organization and he wouldn't coach them in a million years. Also, I was wondering if you have any ideas for the poster giveaways. The trivia questions have become obscure. Maybe an impersonation contest or a best football joke contest.
Okay, we'll share those with.
We'll put them in the suggestion.
It's not our call.
Tease.
Yeah.
Gotta ask Tease.
He's probably watching.
Okay. A lot of emails, a lot of phone calls. Let's get to the phones. Try to get these people out because we gotta go transition into picks. Dan's in New York. What's up, Dan?
Hey guys. Thanks for taking my call. Looking forward to this weekend matchup. Belichick-led defenses have had success against the young QBs, rookies, second years, and I think Sam Howell has up and down season. He turnover prone, but he can swing it. So what do you think that Belichick has in store for Sam Howell this weekend, and how do you think they're going to try to make him?
Confusion. Dial it up. Different looks.
Yeah, that's what, first of all, just ode to Wink Martindale. Love watching that Giants defense just, do ridiculous things. But that's what they did. They sacked him 6 times in that game, and it was just like, you're not going to see what's coming, and it's just going to come from different directions, and you're in
41
a blender.
sacks. I don't think
so. It was a lot of scheme. It wasn't as much just beating guys like
stunts are big against this line. They have a big problem. Bad lines have problem with movement. We can tell you that from this line here. Yeah. So stunts and things like that. But then Wink Martindale's a notorious blitzer. He comes after guys.
Thanks, Dan. Let's go to Tim in Providence. Hey, Tim.
Hey, I guess the thing that I wanted to bring up with you guys is, like, I've been thinking about all these teams that made moves at the deadline and how the Patriots didn't do anything. And if I'm the Crafts, I got to look at this situation and think to myself, we don't have any talent on the offensive side of the ball, and we have not set ourselves up for the draft. You know, I don't care if you're trading Duggar for a 5th-round pick. Like we need to move on. And I don't see any plan for the future. It's so frustrating to watch. I mean, we know that this team is not going anywhere. Like, the talent they have on this team is not going to put these guys anywhere near playoff wins. Playoff win. They haven't done it in 4 years. You know? Yeah. Like, we got to move on.
Well,
we got to get rid of pieces.
It's going to be a very interesting offseason.
I mean, if you want to trade Josh Uche, you're not trading Kyle Duggar for a 5th-round pick. Like, what are we doing? Like,
4th-round pick, whatever. 4th-round pick.
Kyle Duggar
whatever.
is one of your few good players, and you're going to sell him off for a 4th-round pick. Bailey Zappi was a 4th-round pick. They cut him.
I just feel like, is Kyle Duggar helping us win football games right now?
Yes. Helped you win a lot of football games last year.
Yeah, I mean,
don't see it.
But you can't think about it in those kinds of terms. So,
thanks, Tim.
You can't just like get rid of all your players. Like,
that's my point.
They're 2-6, so obviously no one's helping them win games right now. Like, so I understand the frustration, but I would have moved Uche if I could have.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
it's hurt.
I also don't. Well, I think he was available. I think a lot of people were willing to take him, and I think this is totally my speculation. I think they were looking for like a 3rd-round pick or better, and that wasn't what his market was.
Well, but I get it.
And they didn't want. I would have moved him for whatever I could have gotten for him because I think you're going to lose him for nothing.
I get a fan saying, what is the plan? So if you start trading pieces, okay, we're looking at the future. That's a plan. If you sign guys, they are the future. That's a plan too. But they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I think fans are like, what is the plan? What do they want to do? What are they thinking?
Well, they're not going to sign guys now.
Yeah, it's hard to determine.
But I agree with Paul was saying with Uche. That was my point. I almost thought that he meant Uche. Like because I don't want to mean to attack him or anything. But Kyle Duggar, in my opinion, is too good of a player to be giving up for a 5th-round pick.
Why wouldn't they sign him now?
Well, they could. It's just not really how they do business. If they're going to sign Kyle Duggar, they're going to sign him in February.
Yeah.
And
if I were Kyle Duggar, I wouldn't even think about signing right now.
Yeah.
Right.
But regardless, when they sign him, if they sign those types of players, that's a plan. We believe in this guy. He's going to be part of our future. It's one answer.
Yeah.
To many questions.
There's just going to be so many dominoes to fall before we get to the point of re-signing guys. It's first thing we have to do at the end of the season is determine who's going to be running this team going forward, and then
that's why I have said Barth keep talking about the draft, and I'm like, who's picking?
Yeah.
What's the offense? There's too many.
And that's and I don't know this, but I've said it before. I think that maybe the Crafts have said it's a hold on 2024 until we see what happens this year.
Yeah.
Make no moves beyond this year.
Yeah, I mean, and they should theoretically be able to do what they want. It's just really a debate of how much you value Duggar and Uche, and I throw Jennings into that mix too. I think he's just a good kind of solid player to keep around. Probably.
Who was
more
your guy? Your surprise person in your roundtable?
I hadn't written mine yet. I usually
obviously he cheats off of us.
Yeah.
Well, no, I like to give a full picture. So
because you
guys
said Jennings, that was my guy.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good one. And I don't want to say he's not the next coming of Lawrence Taylor or anything, but I just think that's the kind of solid guy that when you not jokingly talk about having a solid middle class, that's the kind of guy.
He seems to be taking advantage.
He can step in. He can set the edge a little bit. He's a good 3rd, 4th outside linebacker.
One more call. David's in New York. What's up, David?
Hey guys, a long-time listener. Never called in before. I've emailed in a few times.
Thank you.
Welcome.
But the call from Jeff yesterday made me want to call in. My big thing was, I think it's over with Mac here in New England, but I don't think you can really say he wasn't put in a horrible position, having to learn 3 different offenses. No real weapons around him, including no third down back like he brought up. And Joe Burrow does have a third down back, and I would say Josh Allen with James Cook. But then even on top of that, like Paul said, Joe Burrow doesn't worry about that stuff. But it's also must be nice to know that even the Jamar Chase to T. Higgins is going to get open in 0.5 seconds for you. And that's what it is with Allen, too. He has Diggs, and you go through, everyone has that top wide receiver. And, like I said, I think it's over with Mac. His footwork seems to be kind of bad now, and his processing has dropped significantly over the years.
So when, Dave, just a question. When they got Mac, were you pleased that they picked him, or were you never a Mac guy? I'm just wondering.
I was originally 70-30. 70 in favor.
Okay.
I was more of a fan of the strong arm guys, but I did see the vision with, that's what Brady kind of was coming in. Wasn't super mobile. Not comparing Mac to Brady.
Yeah.
But so.
Okay.
All right. He was put in a pretty bad position.
Paul, mark him down on your poll. All right. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. And call again.
I'm not sure which side to put him on.
You took your poll down.
He's out on Mac, and then he's complaining that James Cook and Joe Mixon, who are every down backs, just like Ramondre Stevenson.
But he has an option on third down, I think, is his point. He has someone to go to.
I don't.
I didn't get it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. The third down back thing is just frustrating because it's an easy hole to fill that they didn't fill. It's not like that the third down back was going to change their entire offense. Let's not overrate the third down back, but at the same time,
I think they throw enough of those passes. To be honest,
it was an easy thing to do. You would think, to find a guy that can get open on third down out of the backfield, and they just ignored it.
All right, it's we have to really hurry. It's that time of the week. Paul, I'm afraid to listen.
No, it was better.
Oh, really?
It was better this week for most.
Okay.
Alex, who I'm a little disappointed in, I figured she'd come and take her victory lap. 13-3.
Wow.
Good solid week for Alex.
That's really heady.
She maintains the top spot. Mike, 12-4.
Good for Mike.
Paul, 11-5. Evan, 10-6, and Fred.
Oh, Fred.
9-7.
Oh, boy.
That's much better.
No,
much better.
It was a better week for
not
everybody.
For me.
For the team.
With the
I
spread,
expect better.
With the spread, it was Alex 9-5-2, followed by Mike and Fred at 8-6-2, and Paul and Evan at 7-7-2.
At least I got over 500 for the spread.
Standings: Alex maintains her lead, 78-44, followed by Mike and I at 74-48. Mike, you caught me this week. Good for you.
Thank you.
Probably the latest in the season you've ever been.
Don't patronize me.
Oh, no? Should I not do that? Okay. Let's see. Fred and Evan, 71-51.
I'm fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'm fine. It's fine.
Whatever. It's fine. With the spread, Alex and Paul are tied, 61-56-5. Fred, 59-58-5. Mike, 57-60-5. And Evan, 53-64-5.
Okay, big week.
Big week.
I'm ready for this week. Ready to go.
I'm not.
All right. 8:15 tonight. The 3-4 Titans
tonight. Can we stream things at the same time? Can I watch the
geez.
Bruins and this? No.
You wish.
The Will Levis
Oh,
era.
is that another flaw in the cord cutting thing?
It is a flaw, but what you could do is you could have two different devices.
Ah.
You have a computer or
So in other words, I might as well just have cable and pay for it.
Ah.
Well, you can flip back and forth, but you can't. Never mind. Never mind.
The 3-4 Titans.
I'm not Felger. You don't have to treat me like I'm two.
We do have to hurry.
We really don't.
The 3-4 Titans are at the 4-3 Steelers.
Pittsburgh by 3.
And Pickett's out, right?
Pickett is playing, I believe.
Oh, he's playing.
Do you have we gotten anything from Alex?
No, not yet. We'll get it.
Oh,
from
well, I do. Yep, she has. She has.
Mansplain basketball to this kid, but
She's gonna be mansplaining football to all of us in a second.
That was one of the all-time great Alexisms.
All right, so I know Pickett banged up. Like Levis, 4 touchdowns last week. Man, Vrabel Just
Kenny
when I think
Pickett
I'm out,
playing, most likely.
He's just. Do you notice he's just like saying random
I-
words?
Yeah, that's
no
why I-
sentences.
Tennessee.
That's why I cut him
first
off
downs.
because that made no sense. when he was there.
I was working through it.
Who are you taking?
No, I'm going to take Tennessee. Michael Vrabel.
Tennessee.
Just when I get out.
Michael Vrabel.
Right when I get out.
Okay,
Michael Vrabel sucks me back
I
in.
do have a comment, a statement from Alexandra Francisco. Quote, I regret to announce that I cannot make today's show due to an untimely meeting scheduled during picks. I look forward to returning next week to uphold my strong gambling performances and thank the listeners for the support they've shown thus far.
Oh.
Go Pats.
She's taking a victory lap.
Drugs.
Much. My picks are as follows. She has Pittsburgh both ways.
Okay.
Pittsburgh's at home, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm taking Pittsburgh. I'm getting ready for Germany, yeah. Pittsburgh,
Nice.
both these teams are weird, though, because, like, they both win games they're not supposed to win,
Yeah.
and, like, I don't know. So, but I'm taking Pittsburgh at home on Thursday.
It is probably two of the screwiest teams that, they're not terrible. They're just kind of middling. But I will take Pittsburgh as well.
I think they ride the wave a little bit. I think big 4 touchdown performance by the new guy. I think it kind of lifts all the boats, and I think the Titans, at least for another week, are riding that wave.
Be a good story.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans.
It's a hell of a story.
Sunday morning, 9:30 in Frankfurt.
This will be us next week.
Yep, they're warming up the stadium for us. The 6-2 Dolphins are technically at the 6-2 Chiefs because the Chiefs are the host team.
Kansas City is favored by 1.5.
Kansas City's favored?
By 1.5.
Great game. Great for us. I mean, you're not going to have to leave, though. You're not going to be able to watch a lot of it, probably, Paul. But we will get some of it, in the morning. You're going to get here early to watch it? You're giving me this. Frown upside down. But we'll be watching it.
Get it.
I'm going to go with Miami. I'm going to go with Miami.
Me for Mike. Alex likes Kansas City.
Of course she does.
I am taking Miami. I think they're better than the Chiefs right now. The Chiefs' offense is in a tough spot, and this is big, the all 22 from Germany.
Oh, yeah.
What's it going to look like?
Will it have all 22?
Well, is it going to come in timely, or is it going to be delayed?
What's the metric conversion?
I don't know, Paul, but it's stressing me out, man.
How many meters? This is #Evan problems.
So Monday,
stressing me out. He said.
Monday, I'm pulling up that all 22 from Dolphins Chiefs, not to watch it, just to make sure
make sure it's operating.
I'm hoping they screw it up just because it will be an epic rant of like.
I'm going to take Miami too. I actually thought, and this might be silly on my part based on the offense that they played, but I thought the Miami defense was impressive at times last week.
Silly.
And I think they're maybe starting to come together under Vic Fangio. I think they can get healthier if they can get Hall. I don't know if Holland and Howard are playing, but I can see pieces on that defense of them being better in the second half than they were in the first. I'm going to take Miami.
I thought I'd be on an island. I'm picking Miami. I thought everyone was going to pick the Chiefs except for Alex, but I'm. This is a want game though. I want the Dolphins to win this game because the Chiefs, are our rival in Germany, and we got to knock them down.
Do you remember when Fred used to pick games based on like what was best for the Patriots and stuff?
I remember those days.
Now it doesn't matter.
I just explained this is better for the
I'm
Patriots.
talking about the team, like the wins and losses.
No, I know,
but I give you credit. You've grown.
I'm looking to the future.
You've grown,
and the future is Germany.
I think
the future is Germany.
I think Miami might be the best team in the league.
Yeah,
could be.
Sure,
could be.
Let's see. 1:00. The 4-4 Vikings are at the 4-4 Falcons.
Atlanta by 4.5.
All right, so who's the quarterback from Minnesota now? With poor Kurt.
Forget that guy's
Jaron
name.
Hall from BYU.
Jaron Hall.
right.
Who I kind of liked.
Right, I
He's
remember him.
a mid-round guy.
Are we all picking the Falcons?
Yeah.
Well, the Falcons are starting Taylor Heineke, so it's not much better.
Okay.
Easy, slam dunk. I don't know. I'm going to go with Atlanta at home. What was the spread?
4.5.
4.5. It's 4.5. Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta at home. Not sure why.
So Alex likes the Falcons too. So Atlanta both ways.
I'm gonna take Atlanta both ways as well. I don't know what the Vikings are gonna look like now, and until I see it, I have to not pick them. Yeah.
I was tempted to take the 4.5, but I don't know if I can do that with a guy that I don't know really much about in Hall. So I will take the Falcons.
He's sneaky athletic.
No, I know him from college. I mean, like what he's going to be. Falcons for Freddie. Okay.
Sunday at 1, 5-2 Seahawks at the 6-2 Ravens.
Baltimore by 6.
Oh, I like that spread. I'm going to take Baltimore by 6 at home.
It's really only 3, and so that's,
right. They like them.
I love Baltimore. I think that team's a good team. Lamar Jackson's great, so I'm taking Baltimore. That's it. Lamar Jackson.
Scene.
I just screwed up. Sorry, Alex. I will also take Baltimore both ways. Alex takes the Ravens to win, but Seattle to cover.
Oh, well,
what is the
cagey.
sharp? No,
she's cagey. She's the sharp.
What is that?
I'm going to take the Ravens both ways. Sunday at 1, the 1-7 Cardinals are at the 4-3 Browns.
Cleveland by 8.
Ooh.
Ocho.
When's the last time Cleveland was an 8-point favorite anywhere?
I'm going to take Cleveland to win, but I'm going to take the 8 points for Arizona.
Can someone look up and see who's playing quarterback? Is it going to be Clayton Tune for Arizona?
I believe so.
Alex likes the Browns, but she's taking the points.
Oh, she's really thinking about this.
Well, she's got a lead now, so he can't blow a lead.
cocky.
Don't want to be the Falcons. I'm going to take the Browns, but I am also going to take the Toon Squad to cover just because that's a big spread for the Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cleveland both ways because of the Toon Squad.
Yeah, they're a little cagey online about who's playing.
And I mean, if Murray plays, I would definitely be taking the points, but Arizona's had a knack of scoring late to get some backdoor covers, but I don't think they'll be able to do it with Clayton Tune.
Yeah, I think you could score as little as 20 points and cover that 8-point spread in this game. So I'm going to go with the Browns both ways. 1 o'clock Fox, 3-5 Rams. Stafford's really washed. At the 2-5 Packers.
I don't think he's playing.
No.
Yeah, he's got a thumb thing.
Yeah, he got his ring. 3-5 Rams at the 2-5 Packers.
Green Bay by 3.5.
Man, this is a tough one. Green Bay's been playing like trash. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams. Take the Rams.
So who's QBing for them?
I don't even know.
I think Stafford is like trying to play through it, and he's kind of one of those guys that does. So I don't know.
So who did you take?
I'm going to take the Rams.
Okay. She's taking Green Bay, but she's taking the points. You're taking the Rams outright?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Rams, but in a field goal game. So it's 3.5, right?
The hoof.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. The Rams take the upset in this
The
one.
Rams win outright.
Yep.
So you guys are thinking that Stafford's playing?
I don't know. I
just believe in
that.
No matter who plays.
That Packers team has been.
Yeah,
really
I'm going to
good.
take Green Bay because I don't think he's going to play. If he played, I would take them, but I won't. I'll take the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to split the difference. I'll take the Packers and I'll take the points. Sunday at 1, 3-4 Buccaneers are at the 3-4 Texans.
Houston by 2.5.
Whew, that's a tough one. Little cross-conference battle here.
I don't know why I'm having such a hard time finding the games in Alex's thing here.
Because she's using a different order.
Right.
She's using Houston instead of Texans.
Oh, there we go. I found it.
I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay on the road with an upset.
Alex likes Houston to win, but she takes the points.
Hedging.
I'm going to take Houston to win as well. I didn't really think the Bucs played all that well against Buffalo, so I'm going to take them to cover as well, the Texans.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to take it Texans both ways. I like Baker. Let's let Baker bake, but he doesn't look good. He's so inaccurate.
I'm also going to take Houston since Fred didn't care what I took. Evan, did you take it? Who did you take?
I took the Texans both ways.
Yeah,
both ways.
Me
okay.
too. All right. Sunday at 1, the 2-6 Bears are at the 4-4 Saints.
New Orleans by 8.5.
Jeez.
Goodness gracious.
Big number.
Montez Sweat coming for you there, Derek Carr.
Is he okay today?
Terrible commentary today. I'm going to take New Orleans at home, and I'm going to actually lay all those points.
I don't think Alex took this one.
Paul's so lost. Do you want me to look at Alex's and maybe he's got a lot going on over there. I'm just trying to help out.
Yeah, I can't find it. Okay, New Orleans both ways for Deuce?
Yes, please.
I'm going to take New Orleans, but I don't think they're good enough to cover an 8-point spread, so I'm taking the Bears to cover.
I will take New Orleans both ways.
I'm going to do the same. New Orleans both ways. All right. Now we skip over the Patriots at 1 o'clock, and we go to 4:05, of which there's one game. The 3-5 Colts are at the.
Just so you know, she didn't take it. She did the Patriots twice.
Oh, okay. The 3-5 Colts are at the 1-6 Panthers.
Who did you take in the last game, Fred?
Saints both ways.
Okay, Colts, Panthers, Colts by 3.
That's 6.
Colts by 3, and of course, Patriots facing the Colts next week in Germany.
Patrioten Unfiltered.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Siri.
Danke.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Colts on the road, and I will lay the points.
I'm going to take the Colts, and I think they cover as well. Colts.
Yeah, Alex likes the Colts both ways. I do as well. I think the Panthers got that big win to get off the schneid. Pressure's off for a little bit. Colts win.
Yeah, Colts both ways. 4:25, 2-6 Giants are at the 3-5 Raiders.
Oof, this is not one for the faint of heart. The Raiders by 1.5.
Wow. That tells you what they think of the Giants.
Yeah, man, and they're falling apart. This is tough, especially at home. Now, you know what? At some point, I feel like Brian Daboll's going to get something out of his team. I will take the Giants in the upset.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Raiders because, that game after you fire your coach, sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes it rallies the troops.
The new coach
finally
I
free.
remember Jeff Saturday beat the Raiders last year in his first game.
I do remember that.
That was among the list of things that spelled McDaniel's demise. Yeah.
So I am going to take the Raiders.
Demise.
I think the Raiders win this game, and I think the Raiders even cover this game. That's what I got.
All right, I will take the Giants because I think the Giants' defense has figured something out, if nothing else. And the way the Raiders play offense, I think it could be a long day for Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, who was starting.
Provided that they're still playing.
Yeah. For the reason Evan pointed out, I'm going to pick the Raiders. They get that new coach bump. It's that new car smell type of thing. And I think, at least for this week, they play hard and they beat the Giants. 4:25, the 5-2 Cowboys are at the 7-1 Eagles.
Philly by 3.
Good game.
3, yeah, this is a good game.
There's some good games in the windows this week. That being one of them. The Sunday night game is pretty good.
Too bad that
the
Chiefs
morning game.
At 9:30.
It's not really a great
The
1
morning
o'clock
game in
game.
Germany
The
is a
morning
good one.
game, the 4:25 and the 8:20 are all great. I'm going to go with Philly at home. Good divisional battle. I'll lay the points.
Alex likes the why can I not? Eagles both ways. Having a real hard time finding the games. Paul's not as young as he used to be.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I can't pick a push, right? Because I feel like 3 is exactly what it's gonna be. But I'll pick the Eagles to cover at home. The Eagles haven't really played their best football, and they're still 7-1. That would be scary if I was a contender.
Yeah.
I will take the Eagles both ways as well. Good division game. One of the rare division games that I actually would probably be interested in watching. Be a good one for us on Red Zone, Mike. I'll keep you updated.
Eagles both ways. Eagles both ways in this game. Just always love to see the Cowboys lose. 8:20 on NBC. 5-3 Bills are at the 4-3 Bengals. Bengals getting hot.
You don't like it.
Bengals by 2.
Bengals by 2. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow coming on. I think they've got the team to expose some of the problems that they're having in Buffalo. So I'm going to take Cincy, and I'll lay the points at home.
Sorry, Alex.
Alex likes the Bengals both ways as well.
I like the Bengals both ways too. I think they're starting to come on. Joe Burrow played out of his mind in that game last week, and so did the offensive line. Good game for Teddy Karras. Good job.
Old friend.
Shout out.
Friend of the program.
Bengals both ways.
Yeah, I like the Bengals in this game too. Too much offense against that banged up defense.
The Bills win the game.
Oh.
Just because I have to.
I was going to say, is that what you actually think?
No, I think the Bengals are going to win.
I think Buffalo could win. I just don't think that they have the horses.
I'm picking
defense.
the Bills.
Nay.
I'm picking the Bills. Go Buffalo. 8:15 Monday night, ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and
all your ESPN.
The Ocho. Yep. 3 and 4 Chargers are at the 4 and 3 Jets. Who would have thought the Jets, without Aaron Rodgers, would have a better record than the Chargers?
Not me. Not me for sure.
Jets. The Chargers by 3.5.
I don't know, guys. I'm going to go with the frickin' Jets. The frickin' Jets and their defense. I'm going to go with them. I'll take those points.
This is a tough one, huh?
It is.
Alex has taken the Chargers. Both ways.
I'm going to take the better quarterback. I'm going to take the Chargers. But I think that the Jets cover. I think it's a field goal game.
Yeah, me too. I will take the Chargers to win, but I think the Chargers just by contract have to keep the other team in the game the whole way, so I'll take the points.
I'll go ahead and take the Chargers both ways. Why not? Now we go back to Sunday at 1, and the 3 and 5 Commanders are at the 2 and 6 Patriots.
Patriots by 3.
3. All right, I don't love myself for not picking the Patriots here, but I'm going to go with Washington. I think with their passing game, they're going to chuck the ball down the field. They'll make some mistakes, but I think they'll make more plays down the field than the Patriots are going to make, and I think that will be the difference, unfortunately. I'm going to take the Commanders 27-23.
Alex takes the Patriots 24-17. So Patriots and cover.
I think, picked the Patriots wrong maybe every week in the last month, so don't take my word for it. But I'm with Mike on this. I worry about the Commanders. I think that they have some things in this matchup that favor them pretty heavily, like the passing games and the interior pressure by those 2 defensive tackles. So I'm taking Washington to win this game, as much as that pains me to think that the Patriots can't take care of business at home. But I'm going to take Washington 20-17. I think they just make a few more plays.
So, Freddie, I'm going to surprise you a little bit. I didn't expect to be the lone voice on the panel. I will take the Patriots to win this game for the reason that Mike said very early in the show before we got sidetracked with the Belichick to Washington discussion, the turnovers. I think that Sam Howell is pressured in this game. Too many sacks and mistakes. Maybe not even just turnovers, but negative plays. I think the Patriots have enough to win 23-20.
Paul, I'm joining you.
I didn't see that. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming.
I think Paul's being funny. Defense to the rescue.
Yeah.
This game, 21-10, Patriots.
I totally agree with you guys, though. If the Patriots are going to win, that's how they do it. They multiple interceptions, maybe
pressure.
A pick six,
Lots of
forcing
and
mistakes.
That's exactly what the Giants did 2
defensive
weeks ago.
scores,
14-7
scores.
My concern is that Howell is just, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
And he could get sacked 6 times in this game, but he's just going to keep making some plays.
Okay.
And that's my concern.
We'll see.
Pressure.
We'll see. Who's ringing the bell?
I don't know. You tell me.
Sounds like you.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll do it.
Alex, maybe the winner or the leader of this
contest?
thing gets to ring it every week.
All right, let's run that up the flagpole.
Okay. All right. As for us, we've got pregame social,
10:45.
the game, then the postgame show, and then we'll see you next Tuesday.
No, we won't. We'll see you next
Thursday.
Well,
let's stop.
Thursday.
Stop the presses. Yeah. So programming note: no show Tuesday or Wednesday next week. Traveling to Germany on Tuesday. We'll have shows on Thursday and Friday live from Frankfurt, same time, 12 o'clock Eastern. So we'll talk to you then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original.